be free. I take the weight on my shoulders. I feel the sky come down on me. And I can't hold it much longer. Gotta let go so I can be free. Yeah, yeah. Oh,
yeah. Lee.
Already?
Lee.
Dude, what if he comes up and goes Jordan Walker and they send him back down? Are you still going to be doing that?
Then back in the minors, they'll go, Lee. They're not sending him down. Ellie De La Cruz is coming up to the show. FT Live, Krasinski, Kratz, Braun, Andrés Giménez of the Guardians joining us later. Chris Cotillo does a great job covering the Red Sox and some national news. We'll ask him, of course, about Lee. We've probably talked about Ellie De La Cruz as much as any player over the last few weeks. And
have we, though?
Yes.
Really?
You missed some of the times that we had
good for me.
A little Friday action about Ellie.
Because Frazier loves the Reds.
Well, also, Ellie's the most talked about prospect in the sport. Yes.
Yeah, maybe.
Are you kidding me?
Jackson
no.
Churio.
Yeah, but Jackson
we talk about Jackson a lot.
Yeah, but not as much as Ellie. And also, don't confuse this show with Brew Crew Territory, which comes out tomorrow morning.
Hey, by the way, what are the three? He's the fourth prospect. Who are the three ahead of him? And welcome to the show, Ellie.
He's my number one. I just want to make that clear.
Who are the other three?
Why are you shaking your head at me? I'm not allowed to talk about prospects.
I mean, because Kirk Herbstreit said no.
About what?
I don't know.
Kirk Herbstreit likes him. Let's clarify that. He just wants Jonathan India to be the captain of the team, to stay, to not be pissed off about moving to the outfield potentially. And also, I do agree with this part of it. I don't think Jonathan India is necessarily going to be a great outfielder based on his throwing arm either. So just be careful there. That's all.
Okay.
It'll be interesting to see where that plays out. Okay, I'll give you MLB's top 5. Okay. Jordan Walker is still prospect status. Right, but he's still a prospect right now. Jackson Churio's 2. Jackson Holiday has surged. He's number 3.
Because did you see what he did this month?
He's fantastic. Yeah. He might be, for some people, he's already there 1. And also, remember, there are other rankings. And Ellie De La Cruz is 4. Marcelo Meyer, Red Sox prospect, is 5. So I have Ellie De La Cruz
interesting about that?
1 at the moment.
Position players.
Well, position players are safer. That helps.
Because there's no pitchers in those.
For MLB's list, we have to go to 6, Eury Perez. But then
he's up.
Right, I know, but he hasn't lost his prospect status yet. Then it's James Wood, Jordan Lawler, Evan Carter, who's an outfielder with the Rangers, Lawler with the Diamondbacks, and
I love Lawler.
James Wood, who's also Ellie De La Cruz size. He's like 6'6", 2 billion. Outfielder with the Nats in that Padres Soto trade last year. And then you get to Andrew Painter at 10 for your next pitcher. There are not many pitchers in the top 10 until you get to 15, and then it starts to mix in a lot more
Andrew
frequently.
Painter? Is he still hurt?
Yes. He hurt. Yeah, he's like slow rehabbing. They're hoping he can be back after the All-Star break.
Hoping and praying.
Hoping.
For Baseball America, Grayson, so they've got Jackson Churio 1, Jordan Walker 2, and is it Ellie 3? I'm getting live updates with the list here.
Not Jackson?
Yes, Ellie's 3.
Jackson was 1, I thought.
They have Churio 1 and Walker 2, Ellie 3. So Ellie De La Cruz, for those of you that don't know about him, is the Reds' top prospect. He's huge. He is a switch hitter.
He's O'Neal Cruz size.
He is O'Neal Cruz size, but better plate discipline.
Probably a better player.
Better
Still
player.
A lot of strikeouts. O'Neal Cruz, maybe a little need to lessen the hype a little bit on O'Neal Cruz. He has a lot of tools. Mm-hmm. But what I hear about Ellie De La Cruz is he goes through his strikeout spurts, which I think, it's kind of like now it's kind of like, well, if you have a lot of tools, we're going to call you up. Strikeouts, we'll figure it out. Before, if you struck out too much in the minor leagues, they were like, strikes out too much. Now they're like, everybody's going to strike out, just like calling pitchers up. And I think that's why you don't see a lot of pitchers on this list. Guy throws hard, and if he throws balls in the strike zone, we're calling you up. And I think that's part of what Grayson Rodriguez kind of struggled with is when you get to the big leagues, you got to be able to control lanes. But that's for a completely another topic.
True, I agree. There's a difference between control and command. Like you can throw a lot of strikes, especially in the minor leagues. You can get a lot of strikeouts on bad pitches. But you get to the big leagues, they don't swing at those balls anymore. So that's why there's not as many pitchers, because it's harder to figure out who can figure that out quickest for me. That's why all this velocity and, this guy throws 100. Well, if you notice, they might throw 100 and then they do that for a start or two and they get whacked around. And they're like, maybe I'm better off throwing it 95 and being able to put it here and there and everywhere instead of 100.
Or 97 even. I mean, usually, right, a few ticks down.
Yeah, once they figure it out, they lose a couple miles an hour.
Yes.
But that takes a really smart kid, a really trusting coach, and a trusting organization. Because as soon as you can throw 100 and you come out and you're 95 to 97, what's wrong? Is it your elbow, shoulder? What's wrong? Your legs? Do you not feel? Is it conditioning? What's going on? Like, the organization has to believe in it and has to believe that we're going to build this guy to be, like AJ said, somebody that has command and can control his stuff so that you can pop the 101 when you need to. But right now, kids, not even kids, organizations. They're putting up heavy ball walls to throw the ball as hard as you can to be able to get the velocity as hard as you can. So you like go in a game, okay, well, now I'm going to command. No, it's you build that velocity with command, and that is how you stay successful. That's how you stay and are super successful in the big leagues consistently.
Okay, back to Ellie. So Baseball America grades 70 power, and it's 20 to 80 for the casual fans. That's the scale, okay? 80 means ridiculous.
Hall of Fame
20
power.
means no. Right. So 70 is really good. 70 runner, and he's huge. He's 6'6". He's a 70 runner. So he's going to steal bags.
Okay.
Arm?
70.
70.
But 40 hit. That tells me he strikes out a lot.
But 40 hit.
Yeah.
Now, I am going to disagree and say 50 hit.
Okay, well, here's my thing.
From what I've seen.
Here's my
I
thing
think,
with strikeouts, though.
Yeah.
And I know we're in love with StatCast, and I know we're in love with how exit velocity, and it's kind of like what Kratz just said about O'Neal Cruz. I don't care how far you can hit a ball. If you can't hit the ball, and listen, there's times where I get it, you're trying to go deep, but there are also times where there's a runner on third and one out. We just need you to hit a damn ground ball to shortstop. You better have the ability to cut it down and just go boop and hit a ground ball to shortstop to drive the run in. So to me, I get it. I get the power, and I get it's kind of what we were talking about off the air about showcase ball. Like, everyone can go to a showcase and say, man, this dude hits it 9 million miles. Then the game comes and the pitcher goes, oh, yeah, by the way, here's a curving ball. And they're like, no chance. Right? So there's a difference. Like our boy Minkiewicz will say, can he play? CHP. The end of the day, CHP. Can he play or not? Because that's what it boils down to. Listen, you can have all the tools in the world, and I'm sure Kratz will agree. I played with a million dudes that had tools.
Oh.
But they get up there and they see things that they've never seen, and they see pressure, and they see people expecting them to perform. And guess what? Those tools go back in the tool belt, and they don't come out again.
It sounds to me like you guys aren't as high on him as
No,
I am.
listen, I hope he does great. No.
No,
I've never seen the kid play.
And I wanted to interject there before Scott said anything. This is not AJ Przinsky being a hater at all.
No.
He is
not at all.
showing you 19 years in the show. And if an Ellie De La Cruz coach, if an Ellie De La Cruz teammate can tell him these things, his skill set will allow him to make these adjustments. And the sooner he makes the adjustments, the better off. Let's go Jordan Walker. Yes, I was a hater when they sent him down. But you can't deny the fact that he was hitting the ball on the ground. And if he's not going to steal a ton of bases, success in the big leagues, just like throwing strikes in the big leagues is success for pitchers, elevating the ball is success for hitters. And like, he needs to do that. Ellie De La Cruz needs to be able to make contact. And I have never seen it. I've never seen it where somebody goes from the minor leagues and is a 33% strikeout victim in the minor leagues and goes to the big leagues and is like, oh, he's only 25. He might stay around 33%, but you take away, what did you say, 70 power, 70 speed? You swing and miss, that's 0 power, 0 speed. Go sit on the bench.
No, I'm not hating at all. I mean, I've never seen – all I've seen is the highlights you've ever seen. I've never seen the kid in person.
Mm-hmm.
And he might come up and be the next, whoever you want to call him, Harper, Trout, whatever you want to call him.
I heard switch hitting Tatis.
Okay. Well, no. I mean, listen, hopefully he doesn't do the things Tatis did
Yeah,
away
but
from the field.
Player profile, switch hitting Tatis. Yes,
it's incredible
please.
with the energy and everything he's got going on.
Yes.
But my problem, again, is, the strikeouts. And like Kratz just said, 33% strikeouts. So you play that out. 600 at bats, he's already going to strike out 200 times. That's a lot of times you go up there and you do nothing. And if he can 70 run, you'd like to cut that down to 20% and then hit some choppers, get on first, and with the bigger bases and the rules, steal second, steal third. So, there has to be an adjustment made. And I wish the kid, look, I want nothing but the best for every player that gets called up. I don't ever think that I'm hating on anybody, because I'm not, because you're there, and congratulations. And I hope you kick ass, Ellie. But I'm just saying, there are certain things you look for. And one of the things that has happened now with the internet and you can turn on and watch any minor league game you want to watch on the package, right? Fans overhype people. They overhype guys, and organizations overhype guys. And then they get to the major leagues, and guess what? They don't live up to it, but they already have the pressure on them. And I'm not saying it's going to happen to Ellie De La Cruz. I'm saying it happens because of the internet. And what organizations will do? They push guys too fast because the clamoring from the fans. Because we had Kirk Herbstreit on, and we need to call up Ellie De La Cruz, right? Super Reds fan. Well, maybe he's not ready. But guess what? All the clamoring, Senzel goes on the IL. Well, who's there? Oh, the fans want Ellie De La Cruz. Here's a shot. He better do well. Because what happens if he comes up and struggles?
Then you send him down. Who cares?
Who cares? It's such a slippery slope.
I would rather be aggressive. You know which team does this so well?
Don't say the
Braves. Hell yes. No, who did you say, Braves or Rays?
I said Rays, but
no, Braves. The Atlanta
Braves. But the Braves have a system set up. They don't say
they do.
100%.
How many guys have they called up that have stuck versus how many guys they called up and had to go back down?
It's a mix.
Huh?
It's a mix.
The only one I can think of that's had to go back down is Vaughn Grissom because he switched positions.
Right. Oh, you're saying the guys stay up. I know, but they're calling up guys at a very young age.
But they also think they're ready. They have something where they say, this guy's ready.
Right. So maybe the Reds have that too. Matt McClain gets called up. He looks real good.
Who?
Matt McClain so far with Cincinnati.
Yep.
So now that infield.
Friedel?
TJ Friedel. Well, TJ Friedel's been around TJ Friedel's like 26 or 7 years
Street.
old.
What's the other one? Street?
Steer.
Oh, Spencer Steer, but also Spencer Steer's mid-20s. Age-wise.
But they're checking their boxes. The Cardinals used to always call guys up, and I know I'm kind of diverting to other organizations, but to get called up as a pitcher, you had to be below a 1.25 to the plate. You had to be able to throw percentage amount of fastballs in the strike zone, and you needed to be able to throw percentage amount of one breaking ball in the strike zone. That was you had to hit those prerequisites. And then, they had some turnover and stuff, and guys started throwing 1.5 to the plate, and Yachty's arm started declining, so they couldn't do all those things before. But these organizations that call guys up young, they're making them hit those criteria before they're calling them up. The Cleveland Guardians, they make them hit the criteria for starting pitchers before they call them up. It's not just willy-nilly. Nick Senzel, the good organizations that do it a lot.
Okay, but he's ready. I mean, according to them, he's ready. To me, I don't think we're talking enough about Ellie, and we're talking too much.
Then why wasn't he in the big leagues to start? If he's ready.
To start the season?
So he had to go down there for 2 months?
Yes.
So it's time manipulation.
I'm going to tell you why. And I've mentioned this on the show before. I am on the record.
Service time manipulation.
In spring training, Nick Krall was asked, when is it time for Ellie De La Cruz? And he said, I listened to the interview and I wrote this down. He has only spent 2 months above A-ball, and we'd like to see him develop a little bit on offense and defense. Okay? That's actually fair.
So I respected he developed in 2 months.
So 2 more. No. Develop, sure, a little bit. But more what I'm looking at is, did he prove himself in 2 more months and force their hand and say, hey, might as well try this out in the bigs? Because, maybe I'm striking out a little bit more than some people want me to. But aside from that, I've got it all going right now. They're probably pitching around me a little bit at the moment. I'm not watching all his minor league games. I'm looking at his highlights for the most part, and he had a sprained ankle to start the season, which also was a factor. So add it all up, I think it's fine. My thing is, I'm like, forget talking about Russian guys. I get it. Some guys do get rushed, and then they get sent back down. Let's just have fun, see what happens. And worst case, he goes back down. He's 21 years old.
I hope he does great. I've said
and
it.
if he doesn't do well, he gets sent back down. The Jordan Walker part was annoying because, yes, he was hitting the ball on the ground too much, but the numbers weren't bad. That felt more like a scapegoat situation. I'm like, what? He can't hit the ball in the air in the major leagues? You disagree?
Jordan Walker wasn't a scapegoat situation. I talked to Ollie Marmol about it 2 weeks ago in the game I had. And he gave me the whole – and I can't share it, unfortunately, because he kept it quiet. But when he explained it to me, why they did what they did, it made total sense. And yes, it had something to do with balls on the ground. But if you look at him, his numbers were regressing. Okay?
So everybody goes through some regression. He'd been in the league for 5 minutes.
But he's 20 years old, just turned 21. They didn't want him to struggle at the major league level because there's a difference. When you struggle –
But he hadn't struggled yet.
He was. They felt it was coming. He was.
Oh, bullshit.
And he did. And then he got sent down and he struggled. He struggled in AAA.
Yeah, I'd be pissed too if I got sent down after hitting 270 something at 20 years old.
There's a lot more that went into it than what you're talking about. But let's just say that they made a right call for their organization, and they wanted him to figure some stuff out. They needed to figure out back in AAA. He's back now.
How's that going? How are they doing?
Well, they have the
We're
worst
about to
record in
pop
the
off
National
on
League.
them, so stay tuned. But Ellie De La Cruz, 298, 12 homers, 36 RBIs, 26 walks, 50 Ks, and 186 plate appearances for a team that's, yes, going to have to do some shuffling around with Jonathan India.
Where's he going to play?
Well, he's been getting some time at third base, too.
No, where's Ellie's going to play shortstop?
Or McLean.
He's going to play shortstop? Who's playing shortstop?
Ellie shortstop, McLean second base.
What about the shortstop? They have Barrero?
Barrero's got a 600 OPS. He gone.
Oh, bench.
El Bencho?
El Bencho at 21?
Yeah, El Bencho needs to go to El Triple-A-O.
Barrero, I don't even think he's up right now, is he? I know he homered the other day.
I haven't watched the Reds that closely, honestly.
You guys start
okay,
getting...
so Scott, here's like to encapsulate the whole Ellie thing. This is why prospects are always good to trade, because you don't know what you're going to get. Ellie De La Cruz, if I were to pick a lock of the day of all the prospects that are getting called up, I would pick him one of the first ones. The thing that scares me, and I think it's the same thing that scares AJ, is the strikeouts, because it's a wild card of how is it going to translate. Same thing with Strange Encarnacion that's down there too.
Encarnacion Strand, he'll be their DH in a couple months.
He
or less
strikes out a ridiculous amount. He's like Willen Astudillo, but with ridiculous power, like ridiculous contact with ridiculous power. And this is from my inside source who has a formula on all these minor league guys. And like talking about both of these guys, he is like, they're awesome. Like he loves what they can do. But to me, the biggest thing that separates Ellie from Encarnacion is his speed. And if speed doesn't play unless he puts the bat on the ball. Like Andrew McCutchen's not getting sent down when he first gets called up because he could put the bat on the ball and he could run out, ground balls to short, safe at first. So
Ellie De La Cruz is hitting almost 300 in the minors. I don't want to make this seem like he's hitting low 200s.
We're not saying that.
You can strike out and still have a nice batting average and get on base too. And he's taking some walks. Like he's going to get on base.
So is Joey Gallo?
Okay, and I'll take Joey Gallo right now. But the modern...
You'll take Joey Gallo right now?
Yeah.
The last 3 years. You'll take Joey Gallo after the last 3 years.
Okay. I'm talking about right now.
Okay, he's hurt, so he's on the IL.
Right, but he was off to a nice start. And can I run through the lineup for the Reds the last time they played, which was against Milwaukee the other day, right? Or was it yesterday? What was the last game they played? Sunday, right?
Yeah. The Reds played a wraparound, John. They played the Brewers on yesterday. They played yesterday. Yeah, they played a 4-game wraparound set.
Right. So hold on.
And they beat them.
And they lost the previous 3, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
So for Cincinnati, I'll get you the lineup in a second, but I'm going to make it much better very quickly.
Mm.
Because I know the DH on Sunday
Joey Votto.
was Kevin Newman.
He was great in
Newman.
Seinfeld.
Newman.
And by the way, Barrera's been on the bench lately and center field, some shortstop. So, I mean, now you're going to bounce him around. He's a good athlete.
He's gonna be Nick Senzel.
Exactly. So, point is, definitely worth a shot here. More than a shot. Dudes, what else does he have to do right now in the minor leagues?
Listen, I wish him the best.
He has to be the perfect player.
No,
The Reds,
nobody's
they
saying
scored,
that.
They
Nobody's
scored
saying
one
that.
run 2 days ago.
So
They
you're
scored
lying
2
again.
runs
This
yesterday.
seems to be a theme.
Ready? Here's their lineup from yesterday. Kevin Newman at third base.
Great
He
in
gone.
Seinfeld.
That's Jonathan India now. McLean played shortstop to start the game, then moved around. So now McLean will be at second. Okay. Then it was India at second. He'll play third.
Mm-hmm.
Steer at first.
Mm-hmm.
Stevenson DH that game, but he can catch.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually DH will be your boy, Encarnacion Strand. And their outfield for
they
that
don't let
game was
Stevenson catch a lot because of the concussios.
That's tough. I love him back there.
I know.
do too.
He's had a bunch of them though.
and then Benson, Fairchild, and Hopkins is your outfield. And
Those
Myers
are
is hurt right
studs.
now.
That sounds like a great law.
My point is Ellie De La Cruz is going to come up to this team right away and
Benson,
has a
Hopkins,
chance
and Fairchild will
to
get
be
you
their
what you
best hitter.
deserve.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like he's going to do well. If
Yeah,
you're
I hope he
asking
does
me-
great. I hope he comes up and kicks ass.
You guys just said how he strikes out
No.
too much.
No.
and
That's
That's what our fans are going to hear
No,
after
that's
the
not.
last 10 minutes.
I don't
That's
care
what
they
you
hear.
heard.
That's what you heard.
You guys gave all these warnings about calling players up too soon and his strikeout rate.
Because I've seen it. Kratz has seen it.
I didn't feel the excitement. Can
Listen,
anyone
I'm
in the
happy. I hope
production
this guy
staff
kicks. I hope this guy
in the
kicks
text
ass.
chat, let me know if you felt the excitement.
I
from
hope this
Kratz
guy. I hope
and
this
AJ.
dude comes up and carries the Reds to the World
You
Series.
guys are ready. If he starts his career 2 for 32, you guys are ready to destroy me.
No.
next
No,
week.
we're not.
Yes, you
See,
are.
you got it all wrong.
I don't know. I
Okay,
didn't
hang
feel
on,
the
hang on,
love.
Scott. Hang on, Scott. Here, I'll come back. Oh, Ellie De La Cruz. He's coming up to the big leagues. Oh, giddy. Man, Nito.
I'm so excited.
Is my jersey going to say De La Cruz on the back, and I'm going to wear it to a Phillies Braves game? Or is it just going to say Cruz? Or am I going to get Ellie on the back? I wonder if he's going to make the All-Star team. Oh.
You guys didn't go Ellie.
No.
I'm just saying, people get excited about prospects. I'm one of them, especially when top prospects get called up. That you're watching
Grayson
highlights
Rodriguez.
of, and you're like, I wonder. Nope, I didn't get excited like that for Grayson Rodriguez. But if Jackson Churio gets called up, I'll get excited like that. Grayson Rodriguez
is a consensus top 5 prospect in the game.
Number 1, he was tipping his ass off. Number 2,
How do
he
you
needs to
know?
work on his third pitch. He said it. He
Oh,
said
but
it
they
publicly, and the
tell you
team
that when you
pointed it
suck.
out.
They tell you that when you Kratz,
gosh.
back me up here. They tell you
Oh.
that when you suck. Oh, you're tipping. Try something different. You just suck. Trust me.
You guys hate prospects.
I
get it.
don't hate
I
prospects.
get it.
No, I would say on the hater level of prospects, I would say AJ has more hate on prospects than I do. I
Yeah,
like
that's
prospects.
true. I'll take that.
But
I'll take that.
on the same hand, this is part of what we're supposed to do. Give you the reality of the situation and all of this. If you're the Reds, you're calling him up. Clear everything out of his Louisville locker. You think he's ready? He will never go back down to the minor leagues. You have to be prepared for that, because I think that is more damaging than any kind of rushing, any kind of slowing, the up, down, back, forth. Well, he's got options. We'll use them. No, not if he is this guy. And you talk about hitting 300 in the minor leagues. Here's some numbers for you. There's a guy he has 12 homers, 33 stakes, hitting 331. He struck out only 33 times in 118 at-bats. He's got a 1,073 OPS. Keston Hiura ain't getting called up, but that's what he's doing. That's what he's doing in the minor leagues right now. So
He
you
did
got to
that
be
for
able to
years.
tamp down.
And no one wants to pick him up.
He did that for years in the minor leagues. Then he got called up and he couldn't do it. That's what I'm saying.
Consistently. He had some times that he did it.
Yeah. But
Okay.
I'm saying
But it's a
over the long
strikeout guy.
haul. Over the long haul. And listen, AAA
Not the
jump
same.
to the big leagues is gigantic.
Yeah.
Gigantic.
Hira has holes in his swing, and they figured him out right now, and he hasn't been able to
Let's
adjust.
move on. Let's move on to another guy that probably might end up back in
Back in the minor leagues, actually, now. And by the way, one more thing I just want to point out. Jake Fraley was out yesterday, so that's good outfielder.
Mhm.
I'll count
Listen,
that.
I hope he does
I wasn't
great.
saying that's the
Kratz,
starting
I just want
outfield
for the
yesterday.
record to show. I hope Ellie De La Cruz comes up and kicks ass.
I heard nothing else. I heard AJ say nothing different than that.
Thank you.
Scott, you need to clean your ears out. Put your
Scott's on a
IOP in the
lying
other ear.
warpath.
I just
on a
didn't, I
lying
didn't feel the
warpath.
excitement. That's
Well,
all.
I mean, I'm not going to do cartwheels
I
until he
felt
does.
alone. I
If he
thought
goes
we
up
were.
tonight and hits
Elite.
4 homers, I'll be all
Elite.
excited.
I thought I was going to be
Elite.
high-fiving with my friends, but whatever. It's all good. You know who's getting booed hard by the home crowd? Alek Manoah got smashed yesterday. He tried to blow a baseball foul.
Which usually we're like, that's a good play. I'm like, it's illegal.
So it's fun to watch.
So-
You're like, come on. I need the ball to bounce my way. Now, Alek is struggle city right now.
Oof.
He got lifted after being absolutely smashed by the Houston Astros, and 2 on, no outs in the first. That's when he tries to blow the baseball.
No, it was the
foul.
second hitter of the game. It was Pena bunted. So it was one guy on.
Oh, well, it
was
got the
Dubon
second
got
guy
on, Pena bunted, and he was he literally
Didn't work.
didn't go foul. Anyways, the umpire,
Corey
as soon as he
Julks.
did it, the umpire was like, fair ball. The umpire knew what the rules were.
Right.
And
Corey
then
Julks.
Theodore
grand
Alvarez, whack, and then Julks, grand salami.
Yeah, 6 runs, just 1 out in the first.
9 hitters,
He was
1
taken
out.
out. Yeah, 8 of 9 reached, 7 hits, 6 earned, 38 pitches. So
And it's like no swing and miss, like no
no.
bad swings, no takes, like nothing, no
You know
check.
what his ERA was last year?
It had to be about 3. It was around 3, if not lower, under 3.
2.24
It's almost
last
triple
year. It's 6.36, and here was the most telling sign at Rogers Center because he was so great for them last year and he was a fan favorite. They are booing him hard. John Schneider comes out to take him out, huge cheering, and then as he walks out, booing again. So they were like, we've seen enough. And they'd been playing better ball, the Jays, over the past week, and the pitching had been playing well. But he goes down. Now, in fairness, let's show this. He is not the only starter struggling right now who is somewhat of a household name. Sandy Alcantara, last year's NL Cy Young. That ERA is more than double. Taijuan Walker. There's Manoah in the middle. Our boy Lance Lynn, still in the mid-6s. And Jamison Tyone has been really tough, too, with an ERA north of 7.
Tyon was hurt. Tyon missed some time, though. He was hurt,
Yeah.
remember, at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
So hold on. Lance Lynn, the problem with Lance is he's the eat-it guy for the White Sox. So there's times where he probably should have been taken out, but Pedro Griffol's like, you're a veteran. Eat it. And he's just had to eat some innings where he's given up some more runs than he probably should have. Sandy, we had Christina on yesterday, right? And she said Sandy might have thrown a lot of innings. He threw all those innings from WBC. So maybe there's a little tiredness in there. I don't know. I'm trying to make excuses for the guys here. I don't know. I mean, Taijuan Walker,
Why are
he
you
goes
making
he goes
excuses?
from the Mets to the Phillies. Maybe it's the ballpark. I don't know. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to
I
help
didn't
some
like
dudes
that
out.
signing. I like Taiwan as a person, but that was a overpay.
Okay. I had to get pitchers to come to Philly to the small park.
Nope, it's fair. That was tough. He's struggled the last couple seasons in the second half.
Yeah.
So back
Yeah.
to Manoah. What's the plan? Can you option him?
You can't. I don't know if
This is one of the most confident guys, and he said he's lost his confidence. He said that 2 starts ago.
How much
Yeah, he's got options.
he hasn't hit the service time where he can say no?
No, that's like 5 years, 6 years.
Oh, okay. But then, yeah, they didn't sign him to a deal, did they?
No.
Nope.
Oh,
Nope.
then
This is the
Sorry.
time now.
you do it before he completely is lost.
Okay.
If a dude is coming out and say they've lost their confidence, you fake IL them, anal fissures, or you send him to AAA. Because you can't keep running him out there and just because I watched the game. I watched him pitch last night. He used to have that slider that just was like here and then whoo. Now it's more of like it's like a slow break.
Mhm.
And it used to be phew. It's just not there now. Why? I don't know. I'm sure Pete Walker can give a better explanation and John Schneider, but man, he looks like a different dude. And that dude used to take the mound, and it was like I'm the baddest man on the planet when I'm in the circle in this circle area on the mound. Now he walks out there, and it's a different walk, and it's a different look on his face. So I don't know what you do, but maybe the old anal fissure fake IL trick might work.
It's not tipping, so just so we get that out of the way. He's not
Never
tipping.
said that. No, it's the effectiveness of his slider. That's number one, like you said, right?
It's a different slider.
It's a
than what he
different
had.
slider. It is not sweeping across the zone. I'm not saying sweeper, just sweeping across the zone as much as it did last year. And his fastball is more predicated on how much precision it had to it, right? Location and the way that he would master his pitch mix at such a young age. That fastball is not Spencer Strider fastball level.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So
Never was.
when you add it
Never
up
did
and
be.
you look at everything, he's not hurt, or at least he's not saying he's hurt. Velocity numbers are the same. Pitch effectiveness and command is not good.
What about
He's tipping.
not having Alejandro catch him? What about let DJ catch him? Let
I don't
Danny
think that's
Jansen
it.
catch him.
I don't know what the breakdown is. Of
Yeah, but
starts.
how
I'm
did
sure
that
they've tried
doesn't
that.
change? That
Danny's
doesn't
hurt, so
change your
it would be
slider.
Heineman.
That
I'm sure they've
doesn't
tried
change your
that.
slider,
Surely
though.
they've tried that.
I don't know that they tried. I think Kirk caught him the whole. I don't know. I didn't go back and.
Does that?
fact
I
check.
mean, I know that matters, but doesn't that only matter if your pitches are what they should be? Because right now,
It matters up here.
yeah, but that doesn't change why his slider is not the same
No,
slider.
I know. I
anymore.
agree. Listen, as a
He
former
needs to-
catcher, I thought that was the dumbest thing in the world. I got to have a personal catcher. Like I thought that was stupid.
Mhm.
But guys need it, and why? John
Mental.
Lester,
Yeah.
Legends territory. He
Coming
had to
out.
have David Ross. It was like a security blanket. Why? I don't know. Just
Yeah.
some dudes need it.
But
Greg
it-
Maddox had to have Eddie Perez. Hell, he kept Eddie Perez in the big leagues for a long time.
Right, but if John Lester just suddenly didn't have a cutter, it doesn't matter who your personal catcher is.
I
You're gonna
agree.
Suck.
That was my argument when I played for the Red Sox. His argument was I need my security blanket. Okay, then take your security blanket.
Well,
he was like
won.
Linus. Linus and Peanuts. He had to have his little blankie when he walked around. It's fine. Whatever. Listen, as a player, whatever it takes to make you feel comfortable, I don't give a crap what you got to do. But if it helps you and you help us win games, and if it takes Alejandro Kirk catching Alek Manoah, then you know what? Go ahead, Kirk. But then if also when you have a 6.5 ERA, John Schneider better be like, well, let's try Danny Jansen or Heineman, or I don't know, let's call up Ellie De La Cruz to try to catch him.
All right, so we'll see.
I
It's
like
problem,
thinking
though.
of John. I like thinking of John Lester as Linus. That's what my head's doing. He always kind of looked dirty and sweaty.
I did not say that.
That was Pigpen. Pigpen was dirty.
Yeah, but I'm just saying I did not say that about. I just said he had a security blanket. I didn't say anything about him calling him Linus. So, Scott, you can also not lie about that anymore.
You said Linus,
I did. I said because Linus is the one that had the blanket all the time.
so he's
Can't
Linus.
wait to text that.
John
to
Linus Lester.
later.
I did not say it. I like John, so he's a
from
friend.
AJ Przinsky.
He's a
Give him
friend.
some popcorn.
Actually,
Can't wait to dig into the fruity pebbles.
I would love to. Should
So
we?
delicious.
Yeah, we should.
Why?
We should. Right
Why?
now.
What do you mean we?
Let's dig in.
Oh, some fruity pebbles.
Okay, let's do it. Let's pop off. Presented by Cookie and Candy Pop.
Mm.
Get it, boy.
Mm.
Get it. It's funny you picked a red bag.
Mm.
It's the same color of the team that I was watching last night
Mhm.
fall in a one-run game that they should have been leading because there was base running issues. There was a drop pop-up, and the Rangers beat the Cardinals, who were swept this weekend by the Pirates. Would
Sorry,
you like to pop off?
Yeah, where do we start with this team? They have the Cardinals. They have the worst record in the National League. I picked them to win the division by 10 games. And they can't get out of their own way. They kind of got it righted for a little while. Base running horrible. Adam Wainwright actually, I'll give Adam Wainwright credit. He was 86, 87, flipping that high school curveball up there. But he gave him innings and he competed. He was down 3 runs early and gave him innings. So good on you, Wainwright. But man, they scored all those runs to tie it, and then they had the base running thing where the dudes are running into each other, tagging everybody out. Like, I don't even know what they were doing. Arenado and was it Edmund and Arenado? Who was it? Arenado and somebody were like running into each other on the bait. Like, what are we doing? Like, this is the big leagues.
Gorman, right?
Was it Gorman?
Gorman or Edmund? Now I'm forgetting.
I don't know, but I know Arenado was somewhere in the middle of that thing. Where
Mhm.
it looked like a traffic collision. They were like, bam, bam, oh gosh, bumper cars. But what are you doing? Like, this is the big leagues. Arenado, you're a great player, MVP and possible Hall of Famer. Donovan's having a great year. But or Gorman, sorry. But
And
holy,
it was those two, by the way.
it was Gorman and Arenado.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like holy cow! And then you see they lost the game on a walk-off hit, which was great. But then did you see like the throw and everything? It was just like it's like they can't get out of their own way. Jordan Walker's back up. He's down. He's up. He's down. He's up. They can't figure out who's playing where. It's like when they hit, they can't pitch. When they pitch, they can't hit. I don't know. And then dude, don't go online, because you go online and the Cardinals fans. I don't know how many memes I've seen of Arlie. There was one today, Ollie Marmol. We're as confident as ever. Then they show Waino. We're as frustrated as ever. We don't know what's happening. It was like, boop, boop, same day. Like, what's happening? I don't know. Kratz. Maybe you can explain it, but I just don't know. I don't know if there's light at the end of the tunnel, because they have good players that it doesn't add up, other than what Scott Braun said. I hate giving him credit. Their starting pitching doesn't get it done enough with strikeouts. And because there's shift, and I've heard this, what's weird is I've heard this about a lot of teams. Guardians, we can ask Andrés Giménez. They're hurt because they can't shift. And so I've heard that Rosario, for the Guardians, his defense is way down because he doesn't have the athleticism, and in the shift they could cover for it. Now, Cardinals are kind of the same way. They can't shift. They can't put guys in certain positions to cover some of their deficiencies defensively, and because they don't have strikeout guys, more hits get through, more ground balls go through, more runners on base. Yachty's not catching. They're stealing bases.
Also, did they not get the memo that you would need more swing and miss? It would be more important based on more baseballs getting through.
I mean, ask John Mozeliak.
That's on the pitching.
He has Wainwright. Flaherty was supposed to be that guy. He's not that guy. Steven Matz in the bullpen.
Yeah, but you can't rely on Flaherty this year coming off everything he did.
I'm
saying it's great. I mean, he's been pitching, but I'm saying you weren't looking at him as a 1 or a 2.
That's what he was supposed to be.
No.
2019, he was the guy.
That's not fair to Jack, though.
2019, he was supposed to be that guy.
I understand that, but I'm saying that's not
fair. He was
fair
Ellie De La Cruz before Ellie De La Cruz.
Oh,
Jack.
Yeah, and he was good for a time period, but then he went through injuries.
Okay, let's let Kratz go.
Kratz pop off if you'd like on the Cardinals, or do you feel fine? You feel like it's all good.
Oh, they're right where they should be.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for you guys to be done, because there's like 9 things you guys said that I was like, agree, disagree, agree. So first off, no, Jack Flaherty is not a 1 or 2, but yes, Mozeliak or Munzela should be Firediak.
Oh wow! Okay,
thought he should have been. Like
that's what they all thought. The Cardinals organization thought he was going to be a 1 or 2.
But you got to, as a GM, as a president, whatever the logo is, the person who's making the roster has to make a decision that, you know what, we're going to get out of Michaelis. You know what we're going to get out of Waino. You know what we're going to get out of our staff. Monty's the best. Jordan Montgomery's the best pitcher on their staff right now. And they picked him up halfway through the year or at the trade deadline last year. Like, to go to what you were saying about, they have gold gloves. I think they have 15 gold gloves in their infield. Now, I get it. Arenado's got 9 of them. But 15 gold gloves that starts in their starting 9 on most nights. Defense is not the issue. If it's the shifts, like, boo-hoo. You got gold gloves. You have a gold glove second baseman playing center field. Okay, and you have a plethora of outfielders. Like, the biggest thing AJ said that I agree with, though, Yadier Molina is not out there, and people are not picking up the slack. And I don't mean Yadier's 270 or 230 or clutch hits or throwing guys out. I'm talking about picking up the slack of what does he mean to the team from a preparation standpoint, from a video, scouting standpoint, to a leading those meetings standpoint. And I'm not saying it's Wilson. I will 100% believe it's not Wilson. It's other people needing to make sure Wilson doesn't need to be Yadier Molina, because nobody's Yadier Molina. And you got to get over that. But now you got to figure it out, because you're too good of a team with too average of a pitching staff to have the worst record in National League.
Agreed. And we keep putting this on Yadier Molina. which doesn't. I mean, he was what he was. But the biggest factor for me with Yachty not being there, and this is not on Wilson Contreras, this is not on Kinsner, this is on the pitchers themselves. They've never in their life had to study and do their own game planning because they had Yachty. And they would just say, oh, I can watch some video and half-ass do it because Yachty is going to call the pitch and I'm not going to shake Yachty off, so why do I need to worry about it? And I think, especially with a guy like Flaherty, not so much Michaelis, because Michaelis has been to Japan and he's bounced around, and Waino's been around forever, so he kind of calls his own game. Those guys are okay because they know how to do it, and they've had to do it before. But for someone like Flaherty, and he's pitched better, don't get me wrong, he has pitched better since the whole Wilson Contreras thing happened. But they have to take ownership, and they're not right now. It's so weird to go to the Cardinals and see the Cardinals not saying, like they're not like this as a unit. Because always, from the outside, you looked at the Cardinals and they were like on the same page, like this, locked in as a family. And when you watch the Cardinals now, you see their manager, and I love Ollie, love him, great dude to talk to, love him. It's not like this anymore. It's like, oh, it's this guy's fault. Oh, it's this guy's. Whereas before, it would never have happened. It never would have come out like that at all. I think Tony La Russa would have been like, oh, it's Wilson Contreras' fault? No.
That was a massive mistake.
No.
That was a PR blunder, basically, too.
Yes.
Because they could have just kind of faked that for a few days.
Yeah, but they thought, honestly, they thought it was going to be longer. They didn't know he was going to be back catching in less than 2 weeks.
Right. So they
thought it was going to be a long time, so they felt like they had to get ahead of it.
Yeah, which I respect them being transparent.
I respect that, but at the same time,
it backfired.
It kind of backfired on them, and I think if you asked them, they would say maybe we want to change this. We wouldn't have done it the way we did it. But you live and you learn, and again, to me, it's more of they're not on the same page. Yeah. They're just not like they're not like this. They're more like trying to fit. It's like the island of misfit toys, right?
Yeah. Well, and also one thing goes well, then the other doesn't, right? The offense blew up, and now last 11 games, offense under 3 runs a game.
Let's not forget they got swept by your Pittsburgh Pirates.
I said that earlier. They got swept by the Pirates over the weekend. I watched those games. Bednar was ridiculous in the 9th, and the Pirates were winning close games where the Cardinals weren't. You know, they weren't scoring like they did right before this little bad stretch again. So, okay, I got you.
Right. Go get them, Cards. If you had Elly De La Cruz, Scott would like you.
And I also think. We're talking about a team that you guys said, and I was not in agreement, could win this division by 10, 15 games.
I did not say that.
I said that.
I had a hard time choosing between the Cardinals and the Brewers.
I did not. I thought the Cardinals had the best roster, and then I didn't realize they were going to just not like each other.
And so I don't think they're going to end where they are right now, but they have an uphill climb. They have an uphill climb to get to 500, people. Like, if they get to 500 by the All-Star break, we're going to be talking about this team as potential buyers of half a team at the All-Star break because they need a lot of starting pitching.
Well, let's say they don't get back to 500. Will they sell? They have pieces. Helsley, Hicks, Gallegos, Cabrera. They got some pieces. They got pieces that people would want.
Although that bullpen's going to be, it's like buying a used tire. It's like, whoa, this thing's got some wear on it because these boys are getting worn out.
Jordan Montgomery, Flaherty. I mean, outfielders, they have too many right now.
But they have the same pieces. They're like
right, but they're going to trade some of those guys.
Carlson.
And Newbar probably has the most value.
But they're all like the same guy. It's like they have the same players.
O'Neill is a lock to be dealt.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like their outfielders, like they have like 5 of the same dudes.
You still have to make decisions though.
I know.
So and trade from it still is that's depth. It's still major league depth. Those are most of those players we're mentioning. These are major league ball players. So you trade some of them and you try and grab starting pitching. And you might have to go to the top of that list.
Field?
Well, because Newbar's hurt and Jordan Walker can't play center. O'Neill's
so they don't have they don't have depth.
Out.
Carlson's out too.
Yeah. No, I know.
No, but they
not
have,
this second, but
when they are all together, they have
it's
they're like the same guys. Carlson, Newbar, they're like the same. It's like the same player. They're all like the same player. Like
you got
let's say they're
Burleson
gonna
and Yepes, and I mean,
yeah, they're all the
that's
same
the
dude.
next tier down. But yes,
They're all the same.
obviously Walker,
There's
who
not
needs to
you
improve.
don't
his
have like the guy
defense.
that's like a burner. You don't have the Diaz guy in Oakland that's coming out there center field and is going to steal your bases.
Estuary.
Estuary Diaz. You don't have O'Neill. I guess would be the guy. You don't have Matt Holliday coming up and saying, "Oh, this dude's going to hit me 35 and driving 100."
Yep.
They don't have that. It's supposed to be O'Neill. He's never really done that. So it's like, what are they? Are they above average players? Is Carlson? Remember, he was super hyped. Switch hitter with power. Ellie De La Cruz. Just saying, he was that guy, and now he's a bench guy.
He was not Ellie De La Cruz.
He was a top 10 prospect.
Carlson was hyped.
Super hyped.
Not Ellie De La Cruz.
Not Ellie
Okay,
level.
but I'm saying he was a switch hitting guy with power.
He was not supposed to be power like that. That's
I know, but I'm just saying
he's
he
not
was
70
a
power.
top 10 consensus prospect.
No, he was, and he was supposed to be. I remember, guy that does everything well, right?
Now he's a bench player, maybe.
Right now, he does not look like a starting caliber player with what he has shown at the moment.
Can I say I love Nolan Gorman?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
100%.
man. Beef. Like, absolute beef. That man rocks balls.
And
Yep, I'm with you.
Donovan.
Gold
Yeah.
glove.
All right, so here's my next question. And I already have the answer. Who do I like better? Ellie De La Cruz or the guy who was in your game last night that you called for Fox that I watched kind of painfully at times.
Luis
KC was up
Ariz?
4-0. And
Luis
Miami
Ariz?
won. Luis Ariz, 3 hits.
Oh, Luis Ariz.
10 for 13. He struck out like basically no times.
Struck
this
out
season,
11 times this year.
all year. He's hitting, what's the number?
399.
What's today's date? June 6th. He's hitting 399. And ever since you guys talked shit about him,
Wait.
he has been
Oh,
an
here
absolute
come the
rampage.
lies. Here they come, Kratz. More lies.
Wait, one thing I do want to fix from like, what was it, a day or two ago is I was joking, but I was also serious when I said about Pablo Lopez. You think that they crushed that trade. Who
crushed the trade?
The Twins. You said the Twins won that deal.
They
Do you
did.
still feel that way?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
just
because
wanted
the
to
Twins
check.
have a much better chance of making the postseason and making a deep run than the Marlins do.
Okay. But I think what Ariz
And listen,
I
what
said this
Ariz is
back
doing is
then,
unbelievable.
and they need it. That ballpark is a toy for him because of his bat control, and that team has had no offense for years, and they at least have a little life
You
as
wanna
an
know why they're
offensive
hot?
ball club.
You want to know why they're hot?
Because they swept the A's.
No, I wasn't even going to say it. And they beat the Royals? No. Sanchez,
Jesus,
Brian De La Cruz
right? What about
are
him?
hotter than hell right now. That's why they're playing better. Those dudes went from hitting 200 to both of them hitting 300, around 300.
No, and Soler last year.
Soler's
versus this
Soler's
year.
hurt right now, though. He's got a bad thumb.
I know, but Soler has what, 16 homers? or
Soler's
something?
swinging it, but he was terrible last year. He also has an opt-out this year,
Yes.
which is an
It's
interesting
just
point.
they're more fun. They're more
But
interesting.
Sanchez and De La Cruz are hitting. Ariz obviously is hitting, but he's been hitting all year. Even when he was hitting at the beginning of the year, they were struggling. De La Cruz and Sanchez started hitting, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, man, we're not that bad. And then you throw in Soler, and their bullpen, the dudes they threw out of their bullpen last night were filthy. They had some nasty dudes throwing out of their bullpen last night.
Yep.
And if they ever get Sandy to figure it out, because even the Braxton Garrett that started for him last night, he's got pretty good numbers. You take away an 11 spot he gave up where he had to wear it, and Skip Schumacher's like, I'm sorry you had to wear this one start because we had nobody in the bullpen. He's like, fine, I'll wear it. He wore it through 11 runs in like 4 innings. So his ERA would be in the 2s, but it's in the 4s because of one start. They got good pitching. They're better. Here's the thing. I think they're better than what we thought they were going to be because Ariz is doing spectacular things. We knew he was going to hit. He won the batting title last year. But to see other guys that are doing things to keep them, De La Cruz, Sanchez, Soler, Fortes. Heck, Jonathan Davis had a couple huge hits for him last night. So
I think it's both. I mean,
it's other guys.
they added Ariz though.
Wendell's
This
come
is
back.
something that was missing for this team.
Yeah.
This dude is special.
Yeah.
He's the best contact hitter in the game.
Yeah.
Were the Marlins like what team wouldn't want the best contact hitter in the game? Like I don't think, and I think that was the argument was Pablo Lopez is a bona fide starter every 5 days. Like
That's what the
And
Twins
the
needed.
Marlins have 7 of those.
That's what the Twins needed.
Right.
and that's yeah. But like I don't know that you're like, Do you think teams are going in saying we're not going to let Luis Ariz beat us in this game?
No.
Well,
From
for
a
homers,
scouting standpoint,
He's got one
catcher
homer.
wise,
He's got
I'm
a
not.
homer.
But-
He does lead the league in average, on base, and OPS.
Okay,
Or no, he's
so-
fourth in OPS, I think.
Totally.
It's tough to game plan, right? Because he's not going to hit a homer off you, but he's going to get on base all the time, and it's a pain in the ass. It's tough to
But he
do.
doesn't run.
No running.
Can't run.
He's changed
Caught
his team
more
on
than he's-
offense.
Caught more than he's
Just let me
stolen.
have my one moment, okay? That's my pop off.
There, I'll tell you what.
Give
You
me
can
the
have. Here's
graphic.
what you can have. You can pop off on this. If he hits 400, I will give you credit.
Thanks, Teddy Williams
take the
back
under.
in 1941.
Me too.
I will take the under as well. Visit
Is that your pop off?
cookiepop.com and enter code foulball for 20% off. I've had 2 pop offs today. One is respect to the top prospects in the sport and let them live. Ellie De La Cruz, and then Luis Ariz is the stud.
Oh,
And
man.
we move on to a game before
That was like the
Andrés
weakest
Giménez
pop off
joins
of all
us.
time.
Why? I have to yell and scream like
No,
you
I
guys?
just think that like you could have been more forceful with it. Said like, "This is my guy."
Sorry, I'm a nice guy. So next up,
Wait, what makes you a nice guy?
Yeah, you can't say you're a nice guy.
You can't. It's like nicknaming yourself. Like I can't nickname myself.
because I wasn't yelling at you guys. I was just
That doesn't mean you're
explaining
nice.
nicely that you were wrong
You
and
lied a lot.
Arise and the Marlins won that trade.
He did what he said.
Hmm.
What
You
Kratz
lied
said.
a lot. You were saying a lot of lies.
Nah,
You're
you guys.
construing my words.
The last 2 days, you guys have been picking on me, and it's fine.
Oh, everybody in the YouTube feels sorry
It's fine.
for Scott.
I'll have help soon. Andrés Giménez, one of the nicest dudes in the game, will join us soon. I want to play a game with you guys. We'll run through
Let's
it.
ask him about Arise. He saw him last year.
Please.
in
I
Minnesota?
will put it in my notes so I don't forget.
You know what? Okay, I'm going to ask him this when we have him on. What Luis Arise is, the way he hits the ball over the park,
Mhm.
that's what Andrés Giménez needs to get back to.
Tell him.
I'm going to. Because if you watch him, he is pull, everything.
You tell him.
I will. I talked to him. I
I
talked
would
to
love to
Victor
hear what he says
Rodriguez,
about
one of their hitting coaches, when I was there
Victor.
last Saturday. And he's like, even Tito, when I talked to Tito, he's like, he needs to get back to hitting the ball all over the park.
I want
Not-
to play your game, Scott.
We only have a few minutes for it.
Oh,
I
we
want
have
to
a
play your
game?
game. It's a fun
We have a
game.
game.
Ooh.
It's called Ad Lib. Although, remember Mad Libs?
Yeah, I love that game.
Yeah.
I love those little. And that
My
looks like-
daughter still does it. We just did one this weekend.
Yes, those are the best. Like,
All right, so here we go. We got Claudia prepared many lines for us.
Thank you,
So
Claudia.
I'm going to pick a few in the essence of time. Blank will make the strongest postseason run.
any team?
Yeah, just call out.
Yeah,
a
we
team.
have to know. We have to know what it is. Like I could say AJ.
What do you mean?
Like
I will make the
Mad
strongest
Libs.
postseason run.
Mad Libs. It
It
says,
says noun, verb,
verb,
adjective.
or like you could put on there baseball team.
Yeah. True.
Pitchers. Teams. Which team?
Which team will make the strongest postseason run? I mean, the Astros. They do it every year.
Boring.
Might be boring, but it's.
Okay, Kratz.
I was gonna say the Braves, but that's even more boring. After the season, postseason, Dodgers, because it's gonna be so much fun to watch them court Shohei Ohtani.
I also think the Dodgers are going to be serious trade deadline players because their prospect pipeline. If you listen to Fair Territory from Ken Rosenthal on yesterday's show, woo, there's a lot down there.
Here's who I'm picking: the Pirates.
You're
To make
such
the
a
strongest
liar, too.
postseason run.
I
I
just
wish you
wanted
guys
to hear
weren't such
Scott.
big liars.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to hear Scott's answer.
He's nice. He's not going to
He's
say anything.
nice. He's nice.
Wait,
Isn't
next
nice?
one, and Claudia now gave me some write-ins here. But
Okay.
wait, Claudia, the next one, let's pop it up. At the trade deadline, the blank will be the biggest buyers. You're talking about team, Claude, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As opposed to what? Like going to the Lulu
I'm
store?
going off what she wrote in. Don't start.
Don't start on that because there's a whole different thing.
Don't
on that.
start.
'Cause you don't even have to buy stuff there.
Biggest team, biggest buyer right now in your mind? To me, that
Right now,
sentence-
it would be. I mean, if Kratz's scenario plays out, it'd be the Cardinals.
buyers.
If they get to
Biggest
500,
buyers.
if they get to
right.
500,
See, for me, I've got an easy answer for you.
Marlins.
No, Rangers, because we know what they want and we know they're going to go hard. Like if I'm them, I'm grabbing 3 relievers out of the 15 plus that'll be available, right?
Yeah.
I'm getting 3 good names to
They
say to
blew
my
one
fan
last night
base,
again.
we're ready.
They
Exactly.
blew another one last night.
It's very evident and easy to see that they are going to be buying and buying hard on a specific category.
You know who's going to be the biggest buyers? The Las Vegas A's, because they're going to be buying a new stadium.
You're jumping right into my – fine, let's go down there. Can
No.
we float that one up?
No,
wait,
I got
Kratz
to
didn't
say,
answer.
the Padres.
Oh,
Padres
Okay.
are about to get hot, and they are going to buy.
I thought they were hot.
Also, what are they
No,
buying
I mean,
and with
like-
what prospect base?
Also a good point by Scott. That's the first time he's made a valid point today.
It's okay. You can trade from – I'm talking – like, that's why I think they're going to be the biggest, because they have the ability to get rid of Jake Cronenworth, who's locked up to a contract. You know, I'm not saying – I just say Jake Cronenworth because they have a lot of guys like that. The Padres are going to go all in.
Here's one for you.
Again.
They do it every 5 months.
Yeah,
It's
but
like-
they don't
Yeah.
have as much left.
They don't
in
have.
the
They don't
system.
have. Yeah, they
I'm
gave it
telling
all
you,
up for one soda.
They're going to lose. That
Here's a
race.
here's a team for you before we bring in our next guest. The Guardians. They're there. They're listen, as bad as they played, they're
Oh, yeah.
right there.
They
And they have some pitching, which
got
everyone
top
wants
5 farm system.
pitching, and they got good prospects. Now, what can they get the right guy to fit? Can they find some outfield help? Can they find some
good trade partner with the Cardinals.
We just said those guys aren't difference makers. So
Yeah,
now you
but
want to
they're-
make those trades?
There's still upgrades over some of those
Okay.
guys. One more, okay?
Okay.
One more fill in the blank. Oakland will be playing in pick a place next year.
Oakland. They're in Oakland next year.
What about in 2028?
That's not what it says.
Okay, well, both.
2028, they're going to be in Orlando.
Nashville.
Oh, over
Wow.
Vegas.
Now Nashville's.
Now,
got
see,
an
mine was just
expansion
ridiculous
team.
because I was just I'm a dreamer.
Can we show the Nevada
Terrible
Independent
name.
tweet? Because that's the one that had the latest news.
Yeah, it's not happening.
Sources say Nevada lawmakers will not move forward on a bill aimed at bringing the Oakland A's to Las Vegas using up to $380 million in public financing. Shocker. The A's have no leverage because they completely turn their back on their home city and their fans. And they go to Vegas and they go, hey, here we come. Everyone loves us. So give us $500
You know who
million.
would welcome 'em?
What?
You know who would welcome them? Orlando.
Okay, but here's my point. The Vegas, like, cool, you can come on down with your own money, billionaire.
Fisher should. He's got enough.
They
Don't
try
make that money
he's been-
back.
all he wants to do is win those kind of deals and strong arm people.
I
Dude,
did see a good.
either
see a
A,
good one.
sell the team, or just focus on doing something good for the game of baseball. One time, John. One time.
I did see something good though the other day.
What?
I don't know if there's a tweet. So the Raiders moved from Oakland to Vegas. They
Mhm.
play 8 games a year. If you're a football fan, you can go, man, I can go spend a weekend in Vegas and watch the Bears play in Las Vegas.
The Bears.
Have a great time. Bear down. Now you're a baseball fan. Say you're a Ranger fan and they're in your division. Are you really going to say it's a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? You're going to say, man, I want to go to Vegas in the middle of the week and party like a rock star and go watch the Rangers play 3 games and have to go to the games every night and hang out. It just doesn't. For football, it seems like it works better. And the other thing is, people say, well, what about the Knights, who are probably going to win the Stanley Cup?
Mm-hmm.
They were an expansion team. So they were, like they say in the slogan, born in Vegas, raised in Vegas. So now all the Vegas people are like, every Vegas person I know, and they're like, oh my God, we love the Knights.
No, and I think they'll.
But
yeah.
that's why I think Las Vegas wants an expansion team, because they think they have a better shot doing what they do with the Knights. Whereas if they bring the retread A's in, they're going to say, well, gosh, we still have the same owner and we still have the same. Now, if Fisher sold the team and a new owner went to the city of Las Vegas and said, hey, this is a fresh start, they probably have a better chance.
100% better chance, and it would be much better
Plus,
marketing
Fisher
and
sell the
branding.
team, dude, you make like $4 billion and get
We're
out.
all waiting for it. Let's bring in our guest. He's been patiently waiting. Andrés
can help
Giménez
out.
of the Cleveland Guardians joins us right now. Andrés, how are you? Where are you at?
What's up, guys? I'm right here next to the clubhouse.
Nice. Okay. So
Yeah.
first off, I'm going to let AJ begin because what?
I just saw him
Oh, you did?
like 2 days
Did
ago.
you guys talk in person?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
what did you talk
like
about?
2 days
What-
ago.
was this your first time meeting AJ in person?
No,
Yeah,
the
it
week before.
was my first
the week
time.
before.
The week before you
The
talked
week
to him
before I
too?
talked to him.
Oh, well, I just wanted to apologize. I'm sorry that you had to meet him in person. Was he nice to you?
Yeah, he was nice. He was nice. He was
What did
talking
you guys
with
talk
one of
about?
the. No, I was finished my BP, and he was with my hitting coach talking, and he introduced me, AJ.
See, Victor.
Yeah, Victor.
I love Victor. He's great. I had him in Boston. He's
Yeah,
awesome.
he's great. Yeah, he's always a good guy.
And he lied like you and said something nice about me to Andres. So then we became friends. Andres, this is what Scott's trying to get to. I said, you've seen Luis Ariz, obviously Venezuelan, hitting 399. I said, when I talked to Victor about you and I talked to Tito about you, they said you need to get back to hitting the ball all over the field because you're kind of a little pull happy, right? And I think you would agree with me. And I said, this is what Andres did last year when he had such a great year, was he spread the ball all over the field. I know it's easier said than done, but how can we get you back to hitting it all over the field, getting the Guardians going, and especially getting yourself going?
Yeah, obviously that's one of the reasons that I'm spending a lot of time in the cage, trying to, get the swing back to the other way and be good, pulling the ball when I'm catching him from. So I just working out in the cage every time, trying to, get that swing right to the opposite way. And yeah, I know really honest with myself. I've been the last month, I've been really pull happy. It's time to figure it out and let the ball travel a little bit and use the other way.
Andrés, ¿quién es el jugador más importante de equipo? Who's the most important player on your team for you guys to win?
I think the way that we play. I think everyone is important because the way that we play, that our offense work, is always gonna be different hero like last year. So too many guys on base the whole time. So the at bat, it's gonna get the right guy at the right moment. So for me, just try to be on base, and good things are gonna happen. I think for us, it's just as a team.
Not Jose. You don't think it's Jose? You don't think Jose
I
needs
mean,
to get going?
obviously he's our guy, but he
Yeah,
always
but
do the same thing.
yeah, okay. So then do you think that, and I've done your games 2 weeks in a row, and I've obviously talked to you about it, but do you think he's trying to do too much right now? Because when I see him hit, he is swinging at balls that he never swung at before, swinging at balls over his head, swinging at balls in the dirt. Do you think that he's feeling pressure to do more to try to carry the team than he ever has?
No, not really. I don't think like he feels pressures at all. I think he knows what he can do, and everyone here in the team know what he can do. So I feel like we already had a bad stretch as a team, and but I don't feel like he feel the pressure.
Okay, that's good. By the way, this is the least you've ever smiled in all the times we've had you on. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, get back to that. There you go. Smile. Get back to the fun
He's in
times.
gamer mode now.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay. It's
They
all
If
right.
Cleveland wants to go out. You guys want to get a few double-digit run scoring games and be like, all right, here we go. Let's go now.
Yeah, it's all that's contagious. Everything is contagious. So we need a little bit of luck on the offensive side, and everything is gonna come together.
Wait, when do you guys play the A's?
I don't really know. Oh my
Don't
God.
worry, I'm looking it up. But in the meantime, tell me about Tristan McKenzie. He comes back. He's always got a great attitude. He's a fun guy, super tall, so he stands out too, right? And right away in his debut, 5 innings, punches out 10. He looked amazing. Some guys sometimes come back at this point in the season. Hard to get yourself going right off the jump. He looked like prime Tristan McKenzie. So what was that like? And also, what's your relationship like with a young player like Tristan?
Oh, it's been great, man. We played together on AAA, so we have more time to know each other, and having him back is just special. We all know what he can do on the mound, what kind of pitcher he is, and he's just special, man. He go out there and competes and bring the energy. He bring a lot of energy to the team, and having him back and give us the chance to put something on the board and win the game. He's just special. So yeah, I don't want him to stay healthy, and some good things are gonna happen.
How good did it feel? How important were those two games, the last two games in Minnesota? You guys lost the first two. You lost 1-0.
Yeah.
You lost 7-6. Then you come back and you win Saturday. Home run by Brennan. I forget, someone else hit a home run. Right? Quan hit the home run.
Yeah. Mhm.
And then you guys win Sunday with McKenzie dealing. And now you get an off day at Boston coming in town. They're kind of reeling right now. Is this where you guys, because you guys had a similar record last year, is this where you guys kind of start? All right, it's time. Let's go. It's time to go now.
Yeah, like I said, just something good had to happen, and it's contagious. So yeah, the last two games, Minnesota, they were important because we start losing the first two games of the series, and then we're coming back and with the chance to tie the series, let's split the series. And yeah, it was important because it was against Minnesota. Minnesota's in first place, so we are in the same division. So every game matters over there.
¿Es Tito
And
el
they
jefe
are a great
más
team.
raro que hace tiendo? Is he the weirdest manager you've ever had? Is Tito like the things he does?
No, not really.
Like all the gum,
I-
all the chew, and like.
I just been with two managers, so
Oh, your whole. I mean, in the minor leagues
yeah,
too.
yeah, in the minor leagues, but it's not the same.
It's different.
But yeah, he's pretty good, man. I have nothing to say about Tito.
Have you ever seen Tito? Have you ever seen Tito shirtless?
Ugh.
No.
Okay, that's why you don't have anything to say then.
He
Because
walks around shirtless in the clubhouse.
I
a lot.
know he would go to do an interview and he's scrambling to put his shirt on. And we're like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
Tito, hold on, we can wait 30 minutes."
He has a character.
He always just has those long white cotton sliders on. It's gross. No entiende. A la corta, pantalone corta para. I don't know what underwear
For the
is.
interviews?
Yeah, he wears those terrible sliders. You know what I'm talking about? They're like his legs are so skinny, so they're not tight.
No, but
gross.
I never go there and see him.
Okay. All right, you just focus on playing. You don't worry about Tito.
Yeah, usually we finish the game and I go straight to the training room, to try to do something on the body to get ready for next day.
Okay, what's your routine after the game? Because early in my career I did nothing, and then as I got older, I would go into the training room after the game and get stretched out by either the strength guy or the trainer, just to get some blood flowing after a game. So what is your routine after a game?
So we finish the game, if we win, we hear the music, enjoy a little bit, and then after 5 minutes I go straight to the tops, cool water, hot water. Yes. Cool water, hot water, and if I need a massage, I let them know. It's just how my body reacts. It just depends on the game. Sometimes I run a lot and a little bit tired, or maybe I go to the pool and float a little bit. It just depends of my body.
What about before the game?
Before the game, I usually just stay relaxed on the chair, thinking about the game, try to prepare myself. Thinking about the pitcher or something, and then I go like to the cage for like 10 balls on BP, and then straight to the game to get my stretch and my routine on the pregame.
You don't do the Pilates lady that you guys have?
Oh, yeah, I
over
do.
your right
I
shoulder.
do it.
You go in there?
Yeah, I do it, but it's more like this time at like 2 p.m. or 2:30. That's when I do it.
Wait, tell us about
And
it.
it's
So,
great.
so there's a Pilates instructor. Is it a class? Is it just a individual session you can walk in? And I don't know a lot about Pilates.
It's
You
like
do Pilates.
it's like two person session,
Okay.
about 30 minutes. So yeah, we had it here. We had a schedule, and she come here, and we go in there and do our job. But it's not easy, man.
¿Qué tal
not-
antes de ir al campo? Before you get to the field, what do you do before you
Yeah,
get to the
I
field?
just stay relaxed at home. Maybe I have to do like that job and adapt.
what?
So swimming classes, or go with my son to the park and throw him a couple balls. With my family, if my family they are at home, so we enjoy it. Maybe good food and talk. It's just normal things. That's what I like.
He's not changing. You're not changing diapers.
Yeah, I do it sometimes.
Oh.
Ah, no.
Yeah, I try to do. I try
No,
to
you
be a
rich
normal
Why are
now.
you guys
person.
accusing him of not?
No, he's rich now, dude. You hire someone to change diapers when you sign $100 million.
No, I do it. I like to do it because I'm not.
He
Dude,
gets to spend time.
I understand, but I mean, there's times where the poop smells, and you're like, you don't have kids. You
No,
don't understand.
I like to think that I am a baseball player just when I came here, when I come here to the ballpark.
Keep that. So Minnesota,
Yeah.
in Minnesota, they have on the scoreboard, they have hobbies that you allegedly like. When I would go there, they have some lie because Mike Herman and Dustin Morris would put up lies about me on the scoreboard. But Andres, when he came up to hit, it said he likes to draw. So you like
yeah,
to
I
draw.
do.
What's
Yeah,
your
I
favorite
do.
thing to
In my
draw?
free time. It just depends. I like to do a lot of like for example, the last time that we have an activity. We have a program here in the Guardians with the kids, drawing everything, and we just did a Guardian, and it was tough, man. We have so many kids there doing great job, and I was like, I'm terrible at this.
I doubt that.
I highly
I need-
doubt
Have you
that.
shared
more
any
practice.
before? Well,
Huh?
why don't you? Have you ever shared any of your drawings, like on your Instagram?
No, not really. I don't like that. I have it at home. But now in the season, it's kind of like tough because like I say, I'm with my family at home and come here try to focus on the game, and it's not really much time to do it just on the road trips.
It actually kind of leads me into my next question because something I've asked to a couple of our guests recently after AJ told me that it was your dad giving you stick
My
figure,
mom.
or your mom was giving him stick figure drawings of his
On how to
swing
hit.
on how to hit. And
my God.
I wanted to know
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
exactly.
Oh my goodness.
Exactly.
I wanted to get the lowdown from you. Who's that person in your life, family, friend, whatever, that will call or text you and say, hey, I'm watching you. This is what you should be doing. And who did we have on yesterday? Nicky Lopez's dad said he told him some tips, some old school tips. And Nicky's like, you know what, Dad? I have coaches now. I'm okay. I want you to just enjoy the game. Okay.
Yeah, on my family, it's not really like a someone specific, but I had a friend who is one of my guys, and sometimes we have the chance to talk about baseball, or if it's not at night, maybe next day in the morning we talk about it. Like, hey, you're doing this and doing that. I feel like just chasing some pitches, and that's everything. But with my mom, she just relaxed, like positive the whole time. My wife the same thing. My grandma the same thing. But I would say it's my friend.
¿Quién llama los novatos? Novatos en el frente de Wawa? Who calls the rookies to the front of the bus?
Oh, Quantrill, Kyle Quantrill. Yeah, he get the mic and he bring the rookies and doing doing their stuff.
¿Quién
Singing
mejor?
or last year for sure it was Steven Kwan. He had a great
¿Por
great
qué?
memories. We have great memories. I don't know. He was just fun, doing some fun stuff over there.
Does anybody sing? Does anybody bailar?
Yeah,
Anybody?
everyone have to sing. If no, you go straight to the baño.
Straight to the bathroom. Straight to the
Yeah,
bathroom.
straight to the
Yes.
Is that like the timeout
Yeah.
spot?
If you don't
Yeah,
do
yeah.
it, you go to
No,
the
if
bathroom.
if you're not approved by the teammate, you go straight there.
And you start banging on the luggage rack above.
Yeah,
Baño, baño, baño.
True.
Does every team
yeah,
do
it
this?
is.
Pretty much.
A
Yeah.
lot of them.
Come to the
I
front
feel
of the
like
bus.
everyone does it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's
on the
who's
bus.
the
Come to the
worst?
front of the bus.
But then what if someone has to go to the bathroom?
You don't go to the bathroom on the bus.
No, you hold it. You hold it. Who's
Yeah.
the worst though? Who's the worst at singing?
I would
Who's in
say
the
Brennan.
most of the time?
Brennan.
Will
He's in the
Brennan.
baño the whole time. Yeah, Will Brennan. He's in the
Wait,
baño
what
the
did
whole
you
time.
sing? What did you sing?
Last year, it was like a Bad Bunny song,
Ah.
Let me
but
hear
I went to the baño as well. I
Let's
wasn't
hear it.
good
Let's
at
hear
it.
a little bit. Let's hear. We like Bad Bunny. We like
No,
bachata.
no chance, no chance. I'm
Ah,
a
¿por qué? Solo
Was
es
that-
diferente. Es a guagua
No,
aquí.
no, no, no.
Es a guagua
No.
aquí.
Yeah, everybody
no,
has to sing, Scott.
No, I like that. I
Not everyone,
didn't
not
know.
everyone has that talent, man.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
but
Not
you have to
everyone's
do
good
it.
at it. You got to
But you have to
try.
do it.
Exactly.
But you have to.
Yeah, you got to try.
It's part of it.
We wouldn't have sent. You could do whatever if you would have tried right now. We wouldn't have sent them to the bathroom.
Yeah, we wouldn't send you to the baño.
Yeah, and your family probably. I bet your family would have liked hearing it on this show. Like they might have given you tips on that more than talking about your game on the field, right?
Oh yeah,
Andres.
my family is not. My family better. I think they prefer to dance.
Okay, so dance
To
for us.
dance the song.
There you go.
Oh,
Kratzy.
Kratzy's got it going.
Wait,
yeah.
he did a dance that we have to bring up, okay? So last time we had you on, we talked about what?
Go ahead.
You know where I'm going.
I know where you're going.
Wander Franco flipping the ball to himself and then making the play. And you were like, that's cool. And we liked it too, or at least I did. What? I'm just going to speak for myself. You can
We
do
liked
whatever
it
you
too,
want.
Andres.
We also
You guys
liked it.
Great. Fantastic. We all liked it. So you said, I've got something special for you if I get to the All-Star game again. That night, you actually did something very unique. Can you give me the play-by-play of how you recorded the out against division rival Akil Badu and his
Oh yeah,
blank?
but which? Oh, when he was stolen the base.
Yeah,
when he was stealing the
When he
base.
stole the, yeah, he
and,
was stealing
and
the
you
base.
picked up the rebound and you got him.
Oh, I will say it was lucky. I didn't know that the ball hit him where he hit him, you know. And you just was watching the iPad and the video, and I was like, he was on pain. I can hear him screaming there because he was on pain. But it was just poor lucky. And I was telling you guys, just joking with you guys. But
No, but he did
you
the
know,
behind the
it's-
back too. Didn't you do the next night? You did behind the back.
Oh
I
yeah,
thought.
the double play.
Yeah.
Oh,
I thought that's
yeah,
what Scott was
yeah.
going. I didn't know he was talking about the
Yeah,
pee-pee ball.
That one was kind of like, you know, the only chance that I have to make the out at second.
Yeah, that was sick.
That was the only chance that I have to make the out at second, and it was close. I'm not sure if it was 100% out.
He was out.
Oh, he was
that
out.
was sick.
Yeah,
that was a sick.
he was
that
out,
was
but-
sick because he went whoop.
Yeah,
Yeah, you better tell Rosario you better stay on your toes out there. You never know. I could throw it this way or this way. Or
it's gonna be hard, guys, for having another one.
No, you
For
got it.
you
Come
guys,
on.
maybe tonight
I'll-
because the last time that we talked, I did something. Maybe tonight something happened.
Yeah.
Can you give me, I know you were like, I don't want to necessarily tell you what it is. Can you give me one move that you would make in a fancy way on the field like you did in the All-Star game last year? Like, give me some move that you would do if you were playing in an All-Star game, like an exhibition. It doesn't have to be the one, like the magical one that you might be holding, but something else that you could do that could show a little bit of flash on the field. Do you have any like trick plays?
I will say, like, you remember the play that Cotillo made? Like, just straight from here, from the backhand side, just straight. Do you remember that one?
That Colton Wong
Colton,
made?
Yeah.
Colton
Colton
Wong.
Wong.
Colton Wong.
Colton
He
Wong,
was with
yeah.
San Luis.
He
just
picked it and just
bouncer.
flipped it like this.
Yeah, bouncer to the
Yeah.
backhand, and he just flipped it.
Yes.
I would say that one. That one's pretty hard.
But you
He
can do
made
it.
He made it look easy, but it's not easy to do it.
Well, okay, what's your favorite play you've ever seen from a second base or an infielder? Because you played shortstop in the WBC. So what's
Yeah.
your favorite play you've ever seen?
Obviously, because I'm a great follower of Vizquel and Asdrubal Cabrera. I like, you remember the play that Vizquel made to the backhand? And I think it was the World Series against Florida, against Miami,
Mhm. Yeah.
and that one with the jump.
Now, have you met Omar? You've met Omar, right? Viscal?
Yeah,
We asked you
yeah,
that.
in the WBC. this
And
year.
this year for the first time, right?
Yeah,
he
first
try
time
to-
ever.
Did he try? Because I played with Omar for 2 years. Did he try? This is going to sound really weird, and I don't want anyone to think this is a weird question. Because if you know Omar, he's super into fashion. But he used to wear underwear that had like paintings on them, and he would always try to get all of us to wear them. He had like underwear with like a tiger on them.
No,
did he try and get you to
he
wear the weird underwear?
No, he didn't. He didn't try. He actually gave me some good advice that I will remember forever.
Well, what is it?
Yeah, we were talking about shortstop because he sees something that I was doing there, like I wasn't moving my feet at all, and that's the most important as a shortstop. So he gave me some good advice, like how to stay in rhythm to the ball with the ground ball, and just basically, a good firm throw to the head of the first baseman.
Well, it's working, Andres. Yeah, it's working, man. Good to catch up with you. Good luck. And I did do the homework. They are playing the A's from the 20th to the 22nd
Of June?
of June.
Oh, boy.
So, and
2 weeks?
it's
2 weeks?
a home game.
Yeah,
the
we
bats
already
ready.
went there. Yeah, we already went there.
Yeah. I mean, they got a lot to do before that, but good luck against Boston tonight and Houston coming up. I know a lot of big games coming up for you guys,
Yeah.
and we'll talk in a few weeks, all right?
All right, man. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Hey, keep
See you
smiling.
later.
Cheers.
Keep smiling.
Cheers. He's got you. He's got you.
Okay.
Andrés Giménez, Cleveland Guardians, joining us on FT Live.
Ropa interior.
What?
Underwear in Spanish. Ropa interiors.
Oh, wow. Dude, Omar Vizquel has some crazy. We used to laugh at him all the time. He's an unbelievably good player. Unbelievably interesting fashion sense.
Artsy, right?
Very artsy.
Trick shot player, too. I mean, he could do fancy things
Yeah.
with the glove.
Yeah,
That
he
was
owns a
middle-
he also has
Yeah.
he also has a kangaroo. So he also owns a kangaroo in his house in Seattle. He has a pet kangaroo.
Mm,
Is that legal?
Apparently,
yeah, is that legal?
I mean, apparently because he had one.
I don't.
I know in the DR. I know in the DR. A lot of my teammates they had. I was just talking, to Carlos Gomez today and talking about, Luis Polonia, the hit king down in the DR. He had a lion. He had what else did he have?
So he was Tiger King.
He had a giraffe, I think. I'm like, I don't think those are the two that you want. I think it was him. Polonia had a giraffe. I'm like, what if the lion gets hungry? He's like, no. He's like, no, Bobby, I feed it chickens.
It's messed up. It's just ridiculous.
Is it?
Lion.
To have a pet lion?
Yeah,
A
it's
lion.
crazy.
A lion. That is a freaky.
That's like a Scarface. Didn't he have like something? Didn't he have like a tiger or something? Scarface.
Scarface isn't a real person.
Yeah, it just sounds.
Come on,
it
back to
sounds like
fantasy.
too much. Well, this might be some people's
Quit
fantasy.
lying, Eric.
So our friends at Tyrus Baseball sent some materials over to Erik Kratz, and Kratzy put on an absolute show. And hey, tough to top what AJ put together
I
a couple
know.
of weeks ago.
AJ's was
Have you seen this
awesome.
yet?
Oh, I want some
Oh.
thick and sticky though. Thick and sticky.
Here is the debut, the grand premiere of Erik Kratz and his Tyrus Baseball demo. Run it.
Eric.
Here with Tyrus, about to show you how to put on the stick. So what we got is the Tyrus stick. It's already been the label's already been pulled off. You can kind of see the T. It's a sick T right there. But we pulled it off and then we retaped it. And it's hot today. It's about 90 degrees. It's a little loose, so that you gotta make sure once you take the exterior off, you tape around it. But this is where we're at now. All right. Now we got this brand new Tyrus bat. Can't go up here. You'll be launching this thing into the second row if you don't put on a little stick or a little pine tar. I prefer the stick. All right. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna go down here, and we're just gonna don't go too far. We don't want any George Brett issues here. We don't want to be getting people thrown out of the game. So just right about the line here. Okay. But be liberal with it. When it's colder, it might slide across there easier, but when it's warm like this, ooh, this is the part that's exciting. Don't just throw it on the ground either. You throw it on the ground, you're gonna take half the field with you. This is the exciting part. Get in a little closer here. Get in a little closer. You dip the batting glove in it. Listen. Oh, I mean, come on. And this is when it's hot too. So this stuff is I mean, you're not going to be able to get out of this one. And now it's all over your gloves, but most of it stays up here on the barrel, which is perfect. And now you just got the perfect amount. If you want a little more, give a little. Hear that? That just, you're ready. That stick sound, that just sounds like Max Scherzer in the 5th inning. Just super stick nation. And then you get in your stance and you're ready to hit dingers, all because of Tyrus.
Shop at TyrusBaseball.com where you'll find high-quality Tyrus maple bats, pine tar grip sticks, rosin bags, and other accessories. The pros know Tyrus, do you? I was looking at you just for that joke. He had a couple good lines in there, the George Brett line.
Mhm.
The Max line's hilarious. Max would appreciate it. Yes, he would.
Okay.
We have been the biggest defenders of the conspiracy theory that went down with Max and the sticky stuff. It's actually how our relationship, I can give you some insight, with Tyrus Baseball began, because we were talking to their smart people behind the scenes about the BS that Max was dealing with the randomness of checking sticky stuff on someone. So I thought it was hilarious. He nailed it.
I did. I thought it was great job. My only question, because I used a stick, I never used pine tar. I only used a stick.
Mm-hmm.
So he only did it up by. I always put it all the way down the handle. I never ever did I go. I always just put it where my hands were.
No.
See, I couldn't. If I put it on my handle, if I put it on the handle, it was game over. I already held the bat way too tight. I think that was my issue. So I just needed a little bit. If I put it on the handle, it would have been. I didn't break bats like you did, so it would, it would build up on the handle too. So I always put it on I'd be putting it on every single day, and I'd put it on at the, right there where I put it, below the line, legal. I'm not breaking any laws, okay? But at no chance I would put it on the handle. It would build up in there, and then it would get cold. AAA stadiums don't have heat, so it would just be yucky. It would be yucky.
Mm-mm.
Our next guest is your handle guy. Hey, everyone's
because I would just put it right where my hands were.
Mm-hmm.
Smart.
And then it would be there, and I never went like back up.
I thought that was cool.
I did too. I mean, listen, that's what you're looking
for.
That's what you're looking for.
Yes.
But I just always put it in. Later, I swung Louisville early, and then I went to Marucci at the end. And
Trader.
No.
All right, we got to get to our guest.
Oh no, but can I finish? But then I had to I used lizard skins because Marucci's bats were so slick, because I only swung black bats. They were so slick with the finish that I put lizard skin on it, because no matter how much Tyrus pine tar, how much stick, it would never get sticky enough. So I use a lizard skin and just go real quick with the stick just to make the lizard skin that much more tacky. And that was it. It was quick though. Done.
CB Buckner once said, guys who swing black bats, you can't see the check swings.
That's why I always swung a black bat, because I heard that in A-ball, and I always wanted a black bat because you can't see the check swing at night.
That's good stuff. I don't think a lot of people knew that.
It's not true.
I only swung a white bat one time.
It might be true. Someone's going to do a study on it now. Let's bring in our next guest.
Maybe it could be him.
It could be. We can ask him. I don't think he wants to do that kind of homework, but he's friends with a lot of smart writers that maybe have more time on their hands. Chris Cotillo, Red Sox beat reporter for Mass Live, joins us right now, and you can follow him at Chris, Cotillo. Chris, great to talk to you. Thanks for joining us. And do you believe the conspiracy theory that was just thrown out there that black bats lead to better check swing results?
Yeah, I've never heard that before. Pretty interesting, but I'm going to tell you I do not have the time, energy, or intellect to handle the study on it. So we're going to have to pass that off to somebody else.
Well, you're not in Cleveland, so you have all weekend. You can start with that, or all week. Well, the team's in Cleveland. He's clearly not in Cleveland.
Oh, he's at Fenway Park. The sign says it.
No, yeah, that's right. Exactly. You can't get that sign anywhere. You have to be actually in the ballpark to buy it. Yeah. So I'm also in North Carolina. So there you go.
Well, let's get into the Red Sox then, Chris. So they lost again yesterday to Tampa Bay, and the Rays have owned them, but they've owned quite a few other teams. Here's my number one pressing question that I've learned from my friends on this show. When you call a team meeting, you do it when you have a very favorable pitching matchup the next day. They call a team meeting right before they're about to face Shane McClanahan and they lost.
But they didn't
Why?
know. Whoa. They didn't know,
What?
right? McClanahan was a surprise starter. He wasn't supposed to start that game, right?
No, they knew.
They
by
knew?
then. Yeah.
Poor planning.
Yeah, that was terrible planning. No wonder
Why?
Alex Cora got
You
ejected.
can't do that. Even if you
That's
want
what
to
I'm
call a
saying.
team meeting, you have to do it a day later. Did anyone talk about the fact that they absolutely like burned and shattered the number one rule with team meetings?
Well, they have Bieber today, so it couldn't happen today either. So I don't know. It's. I think the second time they've called one. I think a single play probably led to that. I mean, everybody saw that Little League home run, Yandy Diaz on Sunday at Fenway, one of the more embarrassing plays probably in the history of the big leagues. And I think they probably had to kind of discuss like, hey, that's not us. We can't be that sloppy. We're kind of, as everybody called it, embarrassing, right? I mean, that was one of the kind of microcosm for how the last couple of weeks have gone for them. But generally, they just haven't played well. So, the leaders stepped up and I guess called a team meeting yesterday. Obviously wasn't in there to see what that looked like. It didn't work in the short term with a 4-1 loss. But, this is a team with a lot of talent, a lot of veterans. And I think that, guys like Justin Turner, guys like Kenley Jansen, who I know we're going to talk about, they know when those moments are needed. So apparently they weren't looking at the probables, but still felt like it was a good time.
You know what Ozzie Guillen used to say about team meetings? Good teams win, bad teams have meetings. So
yeah,
they're 500.
30 and 30.
But my thing is that Little League home run, listen, it was just a weird play and it was a mistake. So like for them to throw everything on that one play was kind of like, oh, it's embarrassing. Of course, but I was in the playoffs and we dropped a pop-up in the middle of the infield and 2 runs scored. I mean, stuff like that happens. Is this a good team? They're 500. Is this a good team? Is this team good enough to move maybe to the postseason?
I take a lot of credit for my preseason prediction being 81 and 81 on the dot because it looks smart right now. It's such a cop-out to pick that. You're just completely straddling the line, but so far it looks good. I mean, they're a good team that is facing a lot of good teams, right? I mean, they're obviously not in the same class as the Rays, probably, not in the same class as really at least 3 of the 4 teams in their division. The thing that I think has been the problem is that they have not really beat up on kind of the opportunities to get wins. I know every team's a big league club, every team has talent, every team can win on any given day, but they're 1-8 at Fenway against the Pirates, Cardinals, and Reds, and they were 0-8 before the finale against the Reds. That's one of those stretches where you look and that there's times where they've looked like they can beat anybody, and then when you don't take care of those opportunities, especially at your home ballpark, that says a lot. I think they just kind of need to tread water until they get fully healthy. Trevor Story's going to be back in about a month or so, probably. Adam Duvall's coming back this week. They still have some other guys that are going to be important, some smaller names, Yu Chang, probably in the next couple of weeks, Christian Arroyo yesterday, some relievers, John Schreiber, obviously Sale's now hurt, which is a big blow. I think they're just trying to tread water until they can finally be at full strength for the first time. I know, a lot of teams have that mentality. Is it going to be too late? Who's to say? This is an important week for them. 3 in Cleveland, 3 in New York. They've not been good since an 8-game winning streak at the beginning of May. It seems like if one part of the roster is performing, then another one is falling apart. So I think they have a lot to prove this week. It's a 30 and 30 team that looked like a 500 team heading in before they got to full strength. It's just to me about, do they tread water until Story's back, and Duvall's a central part of that again.
So they are who they are, and essentially you're telling me this is going to be a boring team to watch the rest of the way. Like they're just going to play 500. And if that's true. If it's not, tell me it's not true. But is it ownership's fault? Like, are we still in here and it's ownership's fault that Duvall is the only reason that they are over 500 team?
I mean, I think there's some definite things you can question about how they went about building the roster coming out of the winter. I think Kike Hernandez at shortstop as your replacement for Bogarts and then eventually Story. I mean, that was an idea that a lot of people questioned, and he leads the league in errors and has been, can't throw from over there, and it's been a disaster. The defense up the middle has been really poor. Him, Emmanuel Valdez at second, even Tristan Casas at first hasn't been great. And so that sloppy play, something that really irritates Alex Cora, a guy who, as he always says, he played 14 years in the majors because he could defend and because he knew where to throw and knew kind of the fundamentals. And for a team led by him to not have it sometimes is very, very frustrating. There's holes like there are on every roster. I do think they've been really beat up. Duvall missing 2 months was a big blow. They knew about Story heading into the season. I don't think they did enough to shore that up. And then, a guy steps up like Yu Chang and plays good defense at short. He gets hurt. Arroyo always hurt. Mondesi, they thought they'd be able to get him back by this point. And he's a guy that has, not progressed to the point where he's even close to game action in Fort Myers. Pitching staff, Sale, Schreiber, a guy like Blyer they thought would be pretty good has been, bad and now injured. So I think they are beat up. They used the injury thing as an excuse last year when they were very beat up. In terms of ownership, people, I think the big question around here is how much are they bought in? Are they too focused on the Penguins or the NASCAR team or Liverpool, whatever it is? And it's tough for us to tell because John Henry has not been available to us in the media since they made the Mookie Betts trade. That was the last time he spoke about the Red Sox publicly in a traditional press conference format. So, when he's in hiding, it's kind of tough to see or tough to tell how invested he is. This is a team that, always spends money. I don't think they're at the very top this year in terms of payroll, but, if they're in it at the deadline, I think they'll be willing to go over the CBT. They were last year, which ended up being a mistake. They have, obviously, Rafael Devers, who, despite having a down year, he got a $330 million contract. So I think they're lacking a little bit of star power that falls on ownership in terms of, are they boring? I think, in that sense, yes, a little bit. Devers is the only star, really. Chris Sale, we saw flashes. He's hurt again. Trevor Story, could he be a star? Sure, but he's been hurt. So in terms of boring, I think that might be why I would lean yes a little bit. I think anything's interesting when you come to the trade deadline. You have to pick your identity. They had to do that last year. They straddled the fence. I think they have to pick one direction or the other this year. And Heimblum might be in job-saving mode. Alex Cora might find himself in a place where he either doesn't want to keep doing this because, he's not been handed a roster that he likes over the last few years, or he finds himself in hot water maybe because of the sloppy play on the field. So I think in Boston, there's always interesting storylines from my perspective, but, mediocre 30-30 is probably, less exciting or less interesting than a historically good team or a historically bad one.
You hit on the ownership a little bit. The ownership's not going to do anything at the trade deadline. They didn't do anything in the offseason. What all of a sudden is going to be, oh, here we go. Like, look for you. And you said stars. They had Mookie Betts and Xander Bogaerts. Stars that came up through the organization. Where are the Red Sox going in the next 5 years? And don't give me the whole they had this bad year. And then they won a World Series. Yippity-yay. We know how hard it is to win a World Series. Where are they going? What do you see? Do you see 500 ball for next 5 years?
It's always an overcorrection. That's the thing. They'll do something where they go and have, a championship GM who is a guy that's willing to spend and willing to go get, division titles and buy championships in Dombrowski. And then they think, oh, wow, we're over the CBT. We got to rebuild the farm system. Go get Chaim Bloom, who does not have that aggressive DNA. He's built the Rays and helped them for 15 years. And we've seen that be kind of a slow process. I think that there's probably, if Chaim is to get fired or if they're to move on from him, probably an overcorrection in the other direction where they go out and get some GM who is willing to spend, willing to make aggressive trades, willing to overpay. I think the really interesting thing is, I've been covering the team for 5 years now, and most of that's been under Chaim Bloom. They've made 2 trades as a buyer, Kyle Schwarber, which was a rental, and Adam Ottavino, where it was cash for Ottavino and a prospect and a salary dump. They have not made any trades to buy in Chaim Bloom's entire tenure, which is crazy if you think about the trades that came before him. Kimbrel, Sale, looking back at trade deadlines before or even off seasons, Adrian Gonzalez, Victor Martinez, you add stars or you add really good players to this mix, and they haven't really done that. So I think in terms of Chaim Bloom, if they struggle, I do think that he probably is on the hot seat down the stretch. And then there's going to be that overcorrection where they go out and get probably some veteran seasoned GM who just wants to win and does the Dombrowski thing and tries to build an instant contender with some of the pieces they have. But the lack of star power in Boston, I think, is the most striking thing. That was apparent from the first day of spring training. Like, there's big names, in the guys who have good career sense, right? Kluber, Turner, Jansen, Story, Sale. But in terms of like MLB top 100 guys right now, it's Devers and nobody else. I think Yoshida, obviously playing himself into that mix, he's been, helpful and a very good player. But it's a team that lacks kind of that. Think back, not just Mookie and Xander, like you mentioned, but, Ortiz and Pedroia and Manny and Schilling and Beckett, these guys that they had in the past. They just don't have those guys anymore. And it's a tough way to build a roster, and an even tougher way, I think, to build fan interest around here.
I worked for the Red Sox in player development for like 6 seconds. Tell everybody why I'm so smart and I love Marcelo Meyer.
I think he's the complete package. And he's a guy that, he was obviously your blue chip prospect coming out of high school. They were, I think, thrilled that he fell to them. People thought he was going to be the number one pick. But just, a natural athlete, a guy that they feel like, can do it all. And he's a guy that has really checked every box, right? He's in Double-A at 20. So I think fans are really excited about him. And Scott Boras said this, and I think it's true. A big piece of not wanting to sign Bogaerts for so long was that they kind of saw this kid coming and wanted to, kind of keep the path open for him. So how that works out with Trevor Story the next few years is interesting, but they clearly have him earmarked as the heir to Xander, who, if you look at it, no offense to my favorite player growing up, Nomar Garciaparra, Xander is probably the best shortstop in franchise history, the one with the best track record, and I think they think Meyer can really, kind of unseat him on that throne.
No offense, but did you watch the Doug Mientkiewicz Legends territory where he said they had to get rid of Nomar in order to win? So
yeah, well, if you told 7-8-year-old Chris Cotillo that, it would be a very sad day.
So you're a fan?
I was back then, yeah. It was, but I was 7, so it was acceptable.
Okay. Would you take, as a Red Sox fan, because you just admitted you're a fan, and don't say you're not, because you are.
I'm
that's
not.
a lie. That's a lie.
I root for quick games and good stories, AJ. It's pretty simple.
That's a lie.
Yep.
No, it's not.
You just admitted he was a Red Sox fan. It's fine.
Not a
kid.
lie. It's not a lie.
It's okay. Deep down, when he is no longer working for the beat, he's still going to root for the Red Sox.
Nope. Nope.
Not at all.
Fake news.
Okay.
Don't worry about it, Chris.
Now that
We're
Scott's
on your
lying
side.
some more. Chris, would you take Dave Dombrowski coming in like he did, wins a World Series, does it all? Now they're kind of back to, we got to rebuild this thing again. Or are you in it for the long haul with Chaim Bloom and saying like little pieces, Marcelo Meyer or whoever they have coming up, and then mix and match with a free agent here and there? Which one, as a fan, not saying you're a fan, the fans of Fenway, the fans in Boston, which one would they rather have? The quick fix, let's win a World Series, or the long haul?
I think it's the quick fix and win a World Series. And Dave Dombrowski had a really interesting quote, I think, right before he got fired here. Remember, he got fired less than a year after winning a World Series. That was September of 2019, and he had won the World Series in October 2018. He had a quote to Bob Nightingale that said, I don't understand why I'm on the hot seat. I thought it was about winning. Like, I've delivered 3 division titles in a row in a World Series. Like, I don't understand, Like, I thought this game was about winning, which is probably the mentality you should have. Obviously, there's trade-offs, and I think the Red Sox probably, as I said, the overcorrection leaning in either direction. When Dave Dombrowski comes in and does that, to an extent, guts the farm system, though, a lot of good players, whether that Devers or, some of these other younger guys that have come up were under his purview. When you do that, you go over the CBT, there's costs, and that's what, baseball has those rules in place for. When you do that and you win, you spend a lot of money, you're going to get penalized so that, you can't do it every year. Somehow, obviously the Dodgers find a way, and even with no payroll, the Rays find a way, it seems. But I think Red Sox fans would rather have, the winner instead of this long haul. That being said, there are some guys under Chaim Bloom that are starting to show like they can play. Duran is one. I know he struggled in the last couple of weeks, but he's been pretty good so far this year. Connor Wong is, ended up looking like one of the best defensive catchers in baseball. And so, those guys and some of the, between the margins guys, Garrett Whitlock and Christian Arroyo to an extent, and some of these other guys they brought in, Duvall for a week at the beginning of the year, look good. There's just not that central cast of superstars and homegrown superstars that they used to have that they have now. So you can only do so much on the margins. To answer the question, they want a winning team, but at the same time, organizational sustainability, these guys in the front office, they're focused on, let's try to build a contender every year. Would you rather have the Rays model where they make the playoffs every year and haven't won one, or the Red Sox first place world champions, last place world champions, last place thing? It's a tough question because racking up regular season wins at the end of the day, you guys know better than me, doesn't mean as much as winning that trophy at the end. So as a Red Sox fan, you've won 4 World Series in the last 25 years or 20 years. They, I think, would trade the last place finishes for that. But all of a sudden, it's 5 years since the last one, and people are getting antsy.
Antsy. That's that's unfair. People in New England are spoiled, including one of our producers. But he's not on here right now, so that's part of it. You mentioned Connor Wong. Is the trade of Mookie Betts just an absolute flop?
I mean, Jeter Downs being the centerpiece of that deal, I think that they looked at him as the most talented piece, the piece they were most excited about. He played like 10 major league games for the Red Sox and struck out in 21 of 41 plate appearances, and now can't make the majors with Washington. So when you miss that badly in a Dodgers system where, look, there's so many talented guys and that's the guy you've got, I think it's tough to not look at that as a flop in hindsight. Verdugo is a guy who, has really produced this year. Everybody around him says he's matured a lot. I think he's been probably an above average player, an above average starter for now 4 seasons. He's had his ups and downs, sure. He's more of a supporting cast guy in the past. Now he's kind of one of the featured players. And I think people in Boston like him. Connor Wong was kind of the throw-in piece when they redid the deal. I think he's probably, maybe exceeded expectations a little bit, just especially defensively with his frame, the power he can show. If that guy turns into, and this is a big ask, you're starting catcher for 5-6 years, and you have what Verdugo's given you, it's not a complete flop, but they were counting on down so much, and that was such a disaster. I think you're looking back, no matter what they got in the return, it was never going to be good enough. I think the best comp is the Lindor trade, what Cleveland was able to get. Obviously, a couple guys up the middle that, have really, and I know you had one of them on today, guys that, have really, solidified, Cleveland's lineup and been kind of, bona fide players. Verdugo and obviously Wong have not been that, and Downs was not. So that, I think, is always going to be one of those where, it's tough to get enough. I do think that looking back, they decided, there's not much, it's not going to be a crazy package for 1 year of this guy. And we're going to lessen the value by attaching David Price in his contract. That was a valuable piece of it too, for better or for worse. I know it's not sexy for fans to look at, no, we got $16 million of payroll relief to get under the CBT, but I think that was a mandate from ownership, which is a whole other problem in and of itself. And that makes the return look a little underwhelming, 3-4 years later.
Who curses more, you or Alex Verdugo?
I feel bad for Jemai Webster on Nesson because every walk-off hit with him, it's just the FCC violations are just flying.
Mm-hmm. He's built for foul territory, Verdugo.
Get him on.
I'm saying, yeah, we will. He's
Pick
coming
him
soon.
up.
Yeah, we'll get him soon. Hey, I want to lastly, Chris, promote your podcast, the Fenway Rundown, the Red Sox podcast that you put together and bring on baseball guests. And you have Terry Francona conversation you want to tell us anything about?
Yeah, we got him earlier today. So pretty exciting. That was, if I will admit, the 7-year-old fan that is now dead was excited to have Terry Francona on today. And, and the guy that I obviously never covered because I was in high school when he stopped managing the Red Sox, but along with Sean McAdam, talked to him today ahead of the Red Sox being in Cleveland, and always heard and seen the stories of him being an excellent interview, and I think we delivered another one today, so that should be up pretty soon.
Can you give us one sneak peek? Give me one small thing that we should look forward to.
He did not tell us how long he'd manage, but he did say that if Dustin Pedroia's wife lets him, Dustin Pedroia will manage in the big league someday.
Ooh.
Okay.
There you go.
That'd be interesting. There'd be a lot of arguments. I played with Petey. He would definitely argue with the umpires.
Yeah, so does Aaron Boone gets kicked out every other game.
So does Phil Nevins.
I like it. Awesome. All right, we'll be listening when it releases. The Fenway Rundown, the Boston Red Sox podcast. You can look it up, and you can read all of Chris's work on masslive.com and follow him at Chris, Cotillo. Hey, Chris, great to have you on. Appreciate the time, man, and we'll be listening to the Tito interview later today.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Chris Cotillo on the Red Sox.
He's a fan.
Not a fan.
You're such a that part. I will say that is troll.
That's
city.
you lying. That's you lying, AJ.
Yeah, that's.
He
just,
said he was a fan.
He said he
when he was a kid.
a fan.
Why are you so obsessed with writers' fandom?
Because they're fans and they just won't admit it.
They're
drives you
baseball
crazy.
fans. It drives you crazy. Is it pet peeve?
Yeah, because they're fans.
You're so wrong, though.
It's not. He was a fan. He not is a fan.
No, it's been the running theme with AJ. We have a writer on every day.
Yeah.
And sometimes a person from Pennsylvania covering Cleveland, and he's like, oh, so you love the Guardians, right? No.
Well, no, like Scott Merkin for the White Sox, he's a Cub fan.
Okay, but that's your one example, I guess, of your personal situation with a writer that his life, and I guess you're speaking for him that he likes a particular team. Woohoo.
AJ, the other on Friday you weren't on, but I said anytime that Scotty B makes fun of you, his voice is always the exact same. He's
oh, he's a fan. He's a fan. And he always crosses his arms.
Oh, that's just so he can show off his biceps.
No, it's because I'm
Look
grumpy.
Dude, look how small.
I'm grumpy because I got
Why are
in
you
some
grumpy?
beef with the writers. Because sometimes the writers come
grumpy?
on and they go, "Oh, AJ, remember when
Sometimes, ever so far.
remember
Well,
when
Chris
you
is the
did
first
that?
one that hasn't said
I
something.
know Chris didn't have an AJ story.
We should have asked him. That's
He
my
wasn't
fault.
a fan. He wasn't
That's
a
my
fan.
fault. That's my fault. 7-year-old Chris was afraid of AJ. Is what
Chris
he
wasn't a
would've said.
fan.
Jeez. All right, I have an announcement to make about a giveaway because we don't like to go more than a few days without one because we appreciate you. So here it is. We're teaming up with our friends at Bet MGM to give out $100 in bonus bets, baby. Very easy. Ready? Subscribe to Foul Territory on YouTube. If you're watching, you already nailed that one. Reply to our tweet with a screenshot proving you're a subscriber. And for those of you that go, oh, I'm not on Twitter, just make an account for 5 seconds and throw a screenshot on there. And 5 winners will be selected randomly next week to get $100 in bonus bets. It is that easy. Now, lock time. Let's get to our BetMGM locks for Tuesday. First, we will backtrack to Monday. And AJ lost. Because I partially will take blame. I said you can't pick Brian Bayo. It was an earlier game. We're trying to focus on night games. Belak had 2 Ks? He actually had he was set up. So I will say
he
this.
was totally set up.
He was
went
set
way
up.
deeper than he's ever
That's
been.
on him for not getting the swing and miss. Or did he do the old pitch to contact with the big lead?
Maybe. I don't know what he did, but he didn't get 3.5 strikeouts. So
No.
that's on me.
He had 2, right?
He had 2.
Yeah.
He had 1 in the first inning, and then he went like 5 innings without
Oof.
one.
Yeah.
Oof is right.
So his team won big.
That was the Alek
Kratzy
Manoah game.
nailing his same game parlay.
He did.
He's starting to find a theme here that works well for him.
Yeah. Parlay.
Yes. And I
passed him.
nailed my
Okay.
Phillies pick. They from the jump. Trey Turner, first 4-hit game with the team, 2 homers. Nola
Figured
was
something out.
on. The Tigers kind of suck. It all played out the way you thought it would, which was nice. So let's hit our BetMGM locks for Tuesday.
Did I just go double or nothing?
I've told you to do that.
Do it. Say it with your
Not today.
chest.
I'm not,
Not
I'm not,
today
not
is
today.
dicey.
Today's not the day.
I'm looking at what he
Not
picked today.
What I
he put
picked
in.
today is not the day. But
Okay.
there will be a time, and probably going to come quicker. It's not going to come the rest of this week. Because
There will be a time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's coming. Oh,
Okay.
it's coming.
But what's your parlay?
Gosh, it's so long, I forgot. I
I see it.
It's
It's-
nice.
you
I
want me
like
to read
it.
it?
I like it.
It's a double. It's 2 different games,
Mm-hmm.
and it's Pittsburgh -1.5 against Oakland,
Mm-hmm.
and then the other one I forgot. What's the other one?
KC Miami.
KC Miami over 7.5. That's right. Because the number is small, and I did the game last night, and the way Miami's swinging it, no offense, Zach Greinke, 80 Pooh's probably not going to get it done. And Luzardo's been okay for ERA,
Mm-hmm.
but Kansas City they hit Braxton Garrett good last night, lefties. So I think 7.5 is a low number. 7.5 last night, and they blew past that. So I feel like that's out of the 2. I feel like that's the one because Pittsburgh's won some games in a row, and Oakland, they sneak up on you every once in a while.
I like your other one better. I mean, I like both of them. I really do like this, but Pittsburgh
one.
wins but Pittsburgh wins a close game yesterday. They're
But
gonna
so you're
breeze
expecting
today.
Oakland to lose every game, which
I mean,
it's not that far off.
It's closer to that side than New York.
if you've bet
That's
the
true.
run line this year
Here's the thing.
against Oakland, you
probably
have
winning.
done well.
Here's my whole thing. Everyone talks about how bad Oakland is. Kansas City only has 18 wins. They only have 6 more wins, and because Oakland's so bad, nobody even mentions that Kansas City is on pace to be historically bad also.
Historically.
No, you're right.
They're
And-
60 games in, they got 18 wins.
Yeah, well, they're actually kind of trying.
So
The
what's
A's aren't.
worse? Well, that's.
Uh,
I mean, at some point, you're just picking from what they're not putting players up there. It's not like the movie, Major League, where they're saying, "Oh, he's bad. Like, let's put him on the team." They're not trying to find bad players. They just haven't filled out a roster of guys that are big league ready.
Now, before you do your lock, Salvi. I know he's the captain. I know but like, gosh, you have to. For him, it wasn't that long ago. They were good.
So he's got an 8-something OPS.
But I'm saying, does he want to lose every game? Because they're not going to be good anytime soon. They're not going to go out and buy a new team. So he's kind of stuck in a situation where, he's great. And Erik does the great impression.
Bury me royal.
Yes.
Bury me royal.
I mean, that's great and all, but man, get him on a team. Who doesn't need a starting catcher?
Yes.
What's your pick?
We're going with Joe Musgrove versus Logan Gilbert. I bought this John down to 5 strikeouts each. So we just got to go 5 over. I hemmed and hawed yesterday. Blake Snell, I even bought up an extra on my own card. I bought up extra strikeouts, and it hit because he hit 8 strikeouts. So I'm looking at this one, and I'm like, Musgrove could go over 5, but I went 5 strikeouts for both of them at minus 125. I love it. I'm staying on my parlay, as AJ would say.
Nice. I'll go Marlins run line plus 125 because I can't get enough of KC and Miami after AJ's riveting call last night. They swept Oakland. They won yesterday. Comeback dub. They're 3 games back of Atlanta and Miami. This is your time to shine. You got to pick on the teams that you're supposed to beat. And so far they're doing it. Luzardo's good. His stuff will play up against KC in my mind anyway. He's been up and down, but the peripheral numbers are pretty good. I was checking out Luzardo this morning. KC offense, okay. Bullpen, besides a couple guys.
Who are the couple guys?
Barlow.
He didn't pitch last night.
Barlow's good, and Chapman's good.
Chappie.
Right. So
they got to have a lead to use those guys, though.
Before I was rudely interrupted, bullpen besides those guys, terrible. So I'll go Miami run line for our locks.
I'm scared because they win all those 1-run games.
Yeah, that's
I know, but I wanted to.
You
to
just
play
wanted to go against me.
Yeah, I want plus money too.
I love that.
I'm not going against you.
Good for you.
No, you're going the over. Miami might
hit
hit the over
like
alone.
5-1,
and they're going up against Greinke. Greinke's actually pitched pretty well lately. He's due for a bad one. And big ballpark. They're going to he doesn't strike guys out. They're just going to use that field. They're doing that really well this year. It's not like they know you got to build a team that's going to use the big ballpark.
True.
Not go over the wall.
And they run.
Yeah. No, I like what they're doing here.
Got a good thing going.
I've been
critical
critical
win the
at
World
times.
Series? Probably not. But they have a good thing going.
It's a better team than they've had in a while, in my mind.
True.
So
True.
Spicy ball. Hit it up. Sign up and deposit into your newly created Bet MGM sportsbook account. Get the app or go online at betmgm.com. Place your first bet offer. Receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if it loses. And if the bet does lose, your bonus bets are available once the wager is settled. Always bet responsibly. Gambling problem or concern, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Again, got to use the promo code SPICYBALL. And boom, we're on time today. Let's slap hands. Kratz hats. What do you got for us today?
Pulled this one out. Just a regular New York bias. AJ, head up. Look at Yankees.
I'm going to the game tomorrow.
You are?
Yeah, I'll be at the game tomorrow.
You doing a meet and greet?
No, I'm doing a meet and greet. Yeah, I am doing a meet and greet. No, I'm not doing a meet and greet. I'm going as a fan, dude. Hanging out with people. Man of the people.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure you're sitting in the rich seats too, getting that lobster.
That's my lock.
What's that?
AJ is getting the full Legends experience at Yankee Stadium tomorrow.
You know who's also going? Mark Wiener's going with me.
He is.
Mark, no Yankees gear. No Yankees gear, Mark.
Our fearless leader.
He's a Rangers fan. He'll wear Rangers gear.
He is. He's such a Rangers fan.
But it's the hat that we wore in the postseason. It's the 2017 postseason. Lost to the Astros. Game 7. So
Jose Altuve.
That was a sick. And you know what? You know what else? Before we finish, I didn't say that this every time AJ says Fisher, I think he's saying ain't no fissures. When he talks about Oakland's owner.
What is your obsession with my anus?
You've got a viral anal fissure story. So
that's true.
See, but listen to him say Fisher. He doesn't Fisher.
Yeah, it's close. It's close.
Fissure.
It's right on the
Fissure.
line.
Yeah,
It's
fissure.
right on the line. You're right. It's a good call. For me, and we talked about this earlier, every time we hear foul territory or fair territory, sorry, you're grumpy sometimes. So
I'm never grumpy.
imitating you.
I'm never grumpy. Just
AJ,
always understand that I'm never grumpy.
I've been going at it with AJ the last couple of days because we're going to be away from each other for a while. So
No,
I got to
I'm
get
gonna
my
miss you
shots
so
in. I
much.
got to get
I'm
my
gonna miss
shots
you
in
so
right
much.
now. It's going to be
By the way,
long distance.
congratulations before we go. I'm not going to be here tomorrow. Smokey, my boy. Brad Hand, 10 years.
Oh, there you go. Well, we've got some 10-year people coming up that we're going to interview, by the way, players that have been in the league for 10 years. Let me show. We have Brew Crew territory. There it is. Brew Crew territory. Check it out. YouTube, Apple, Spotify, the whole deal coming soon. Episode with Ratty Teles and Kratzy and me really get into it this week about the crew, about the injuries, about the reinforcements coming up, about Joey Weimer with the best show hair in the game right now. What did we call it, Kratzy?
Every
A bucket?
every teenager's dream in the Florida Panhandle. Weimer's
It's called
haircut.
a bucket. Something
Oh,
bucket.
what did
Flow
he call
bucket?
it?
Flow
Bucket
bucket.
flow?
Flow bucket, I think.
Flow bucket. That's what
Yeah.
it was. He called it gas. Joey Weimer called it gas.
As he should. Hey, merch for Father's Day. We've got a Father's Day sale, foulterritoryshop.com if you want to go right to it. Otherwise, foulterritoryshow.com. And tomorrow, Todd Father's back, Kratzy, Dodgers closer Evan Phillips joining us, Ken Rosenthal, Lucy
weird.
Burge. Gonna have a
Weird.
party.
Rosenthal's on when I'm not on. It's weird.
You were scheduled.
That's so weird.
so
so
true.
strange. So strange he's on when I'm not
Kenny
on.
Ballgame's gonna burn you tomorrow because
No,
he's
he's
gonna
not.
be like, "Oh, AJ, I'm coming on before a Friday, and where are you? No show."
I'll be playing Liberty National. Good evening.
Ken
Call him.
Rosenthal's nice. Somebody else is saying that about him.
I'm nice too, right?
I admit Ken is nice.
Scroll back.
Ken
scroll
is
back.
nice.
Ken is nice.
Aaron Judge is tall. Ken is not.
See you Wednesday.
That was a brutal picture that they took of him.